What's up, TNT family? So you might be wondering what is going on here. Well, my name is Dale. I'm one of the owners of Bullettproof Studios. Now, I just want to jump on here quickly just to say, first of all, thanks to the boys for having me on. But secondly, there was an issue with one of the SD cards when recording the audio. So the first 42 minutes of this episode is going to sound a wee bit different to how it normally does. However, after those 42 minutes, it gets back to the normal quality. It isn't that bad, but when you're used to hearing how good the quality can be, it sounds a lot worse than what it actually is. Give it a couple of minutes, as the first part of this episode is, well, obviously I found it pretty good, and it won't be one that you want to miss. So again, apologies for this, but wanted to record this wee short intro so that you know what's happening. So without further ado, enjoy the episode.
Okay, we're going to start this episode with an introduction, but I think we do that in the most informative TNT way possible. So the this or that is going to start in 10 seconds.
We're just going to go for it.
Aye, straight in.
I like it. It feels good to be like in the hot seat for this.
I nearly said it there and busted laughing. Reverse cowgirl or missionary.
Oh.
What else is I try to get to know you?
I'm a missionary man. I like the simple stuff.
Crisps or chocolate?
Oh, chocolate all day.
High rocks or bodybuilding?
High rocks, I would have to say, you know.
Country or rap?
Oh, that's a good one. Country.
McDonald's or KFC?
McDonald's. They're both holy shit as each other.
Night in or night out?
Night in, absolutely.
Dogs or cats?
Come on, dogs.
Watch a podcast or listen to a podcast?
I would tend to listen to it more, but I would like to watch more because they're fun.
Movies or series?
Series is because I'm a big anime fan.
Nice. Rugby or football?
I'd say rugby, but I don't watch both.
Right, okay. Machines or free weights?
Free weights.
Pit stop or my protein?
Pick them up.
I mean, I heard my protein's pretty good, but...
Wait! Cancel it! Cancel it! What a guy, man.
I like how you always start with a sex question as well.
I know, it just puts people on the spot, mate. It gets you hanging.
I tell you what, put Jillian on who's in that sexualization
Oh, man.
Sorry, we don't know them.
Just like, definitely not missionary.
I'm missionary shit. That's my favourite one.
Oh, brilliant, man.
Well, wait, the woman episode.
Absolutely buzzing to get you on, bro.
No, it's a pleasure. It's been good. Obviously, this is the last recording you will do this year.
Last recording this together.
Yeah.
I feel privileged to be in the room, but
it was only fitting that the man that owns the studio.
No, I appreciate it. It's good to be on. I like obviously the banter and everything he's been getting through the podcast, and guess it's good to see.
Thanks, bro. Thank you very much.
Anyway, it's not about us today. It's about you. Dale.
Why the fuck do you want me on? I'm born.
You're not born, mate. You're actually very cool.
Think so?
Aye, 100%, mate.
Because I've got the moustache and the
No,
mullet.
once the moustache is finished, you'll be cool.
I don't know. What do you think trajectory wise? I don't know if you could tell I've got a moustache on the podcast.
You should change your name on Instagram to Crossar Seabum when the moustache is
Seabum, I think so.
Aye.
Tell you what, I visit and come back, I want you looking like Charles Bronson.
I was saying to Charles, I was like, I can flick it. I was like, I'm nearly there. She's like, shut up.
You should try that though. I think that's sick.
It's funny how you go to Seabum, because I think the moustache and mullet type look is like a hybrid look. And you're in the bodybuilding world, and also I'm seeing more of the...
Mate, I was at the WNBF 2 weeks ago, and I have never seen more mullets in all my life.
It's in.
Like,
it almost makes you like cut it.
What's the CrossFit? Is it Bridges?
No, they're like hair extensions and stuff.
There's a CrossFit, I think, saying name's Bridges. They're all had a cracking moustache.
Probably, I
There's
don't
something
know.
you've got to respect about that. There is something that I really do, because my facial hair is pathetic, mate. But I just think when a man has a fantastic moustache, it's almost a certain...
Taylor's got a good one.
Taylor has a belter of a moustache, mate.
See, when you see his pictures without the moustache, I laugh and I'm like, that's not the same. Who's that guy?
That's his cousin.
So it's interesting, but I don't think... I'll see where it goes to. I don't know if I'll get to that level. Mine's is like a bit fair, but I'm going to go with it.
You get there.
I was saying this day, I was talking to someone, they were growing their moustache as well, and I was like, you single? And he's like, aye. I was like, see, I'm in a 13-year relationship. I'm sound to try this. You, however, I mean, it's a fair risk to put yourself out there.
Aye, definitely is, man.
Anyway, moustache a question.
I was waiting for something to say
on a
that.
podcast.
I was like lining it up. Somebody say this.
Obviously, we know you from in here, Dale.
Yeah.
I think you've done a great. I want to dive into the crazy challenges you do.
Mhm.
You've encouraged Tommy to do one.
No.
Was that 8
Sure.
months ago, 7 months
Aye.
ago?
Start of January, it feels like a lifetime ago, but in the same, well, it doesn't feel like it was done this year. I don't know if you feel the same.
Nah.
Could you
Dive
tell
into
everyone
it,
what it
yeah.
was,
So,
what it was, and then any other? I know you've done some crazy ones over the years. Let's.
yeah, like, I don't know, where's the itch came from? I think, for me, watching like YouTube fitness stuff, I always like the idea of like challenges, and I think our era growing up, the only challenge that was available was like Rich Piana. He was the challenge guy. There's probably more people out there, but I think you were following like Ulysses Jr., Simeon Panda. You had like who's got Alpha? You had Sadiq and all that sort of stuff. But Rich Piana was he was somebody that I don't know. I think I just liked how straight talking he was, and he was like one of the OG guys that was just open about his steroid use. But the way he would blend it is like, look, you don't need to take steroids. Like you can get massive. And then, so the first ever challenge I remember jumping on was his 8
Test.
It was his test and training. Fucking great. They just
The best challenge I've ever done.
he put up a mad video about being in the gym for 8 hours and just training arms. And it was like, it was just super sex. That's all it was, man. I got about, I want to say it was about 6 hours, but I'd be lying if I could tell you the actual time. We were in the gym for ages, me and my mate. We'd been training since we were 16, so I think I must have been 17, 18, so I think it was just after I met Gillian. And we were down at Virgin Active in Hamilton. It was just like, we've got a sauna and a pool down there, so like you could break for food. So our idea was going to the sauna, jump in the water, back up, and then for refreshing that. That only lasted like 2 hours. That was like, there was no endurance. Like, I understand a lot about your replenishing electrolytes, your carb sources. We weren't going down to the cafe and having a sandwich and then going back up to train. We're just like stupid young guys. So that was the very first challenge I've done. But since then, challenges, would you consider doing a bodybuilding show as a challenge? Falling at the same time?
It depends if it's.
I think for me, my reason for doing that in the first place was just purely, I was, from a fitness point of view, the information I was consuming, the influencers, I guess, or the people that I was seeking inspiration from, they were all bodybuilders. And I thought a bucket list thing I'm going to do is like do a bodybuilding show. And I always had good lower body and that sort of stuff, but I don't know why. Like I didn't like the idea of like wearing the actual bodybuilding, like the fun, that sort of stuff. And I was like, I'll do the boat shorts because that was a category that started exploding. So done that. That was an interesting time because I worked with a coach. Dieted probably officially for the first time, where you have a meal plan and we didn't have steps back then, which was mad. It was just like hours spent on a cardio machine, and that hour or the minutes would go up each week, and that was simply more movement. The training plan more or less stayed the same, so that was an interesting time. Out with that, I think that was one of the last challenges I'd done, so I felt a wee bit lost. I'd done like getting in shape for holidays, but not quite to the extent of like the bodybuilding show side of things. So in the last couple of years, I think when we were doing the podcast Bullettproof Mindset, I think I was turning 30, and I thought, for my 30th, I want to do something big. I want to do like a big challenge. You've seen a lot of people do things. I thought, what could I do? And I was like, you know what, I might do something with the gym. Fergus Crawley's got a very good channel with crazy stuff that he's done. So I was getting a wee bit of inspiration from there. And I was like, I want to do something no one's done before. I thought, you know what, I'll put a barbell on my back and I'll climb up. I was going to climb up the cobbler. And then that idea spiraled. I was like, why don't you do Ben Nevis? So I googled it. I was like, you can just do anything. So this was like the initial idea, and I came across, oh my God, what's his name? David Doer. Sorry, David, tonight. Who I would consider like a really good friend now, been in a lot of hill climbs. But came across him and I was like, oh fuck, somebody's done it. And there was a part of me who was like, you know what, could I do heavier? So he climbed Ben Nevis with 100 kilos on his back. He done it for, he raised over £20,000 for motor neurons disease, and just like an amazing feat. So to me, I was like, oh, that was the challenge. I was in my head. I envisioned it and I seen it, and I reached out to David, and he was dead supportive. And I was like, you know what, I'll bring him on the podcast. Hearing his story was probably to this date, it's probably one of my favourite episodes I've ever done. I'll send a link to you if you haven't listened to it for your audience. It was great, and not to take anything away from David. Like David's he's just a guy that's worked hard his life, and he does well for himself, and he's got his kids and his family, and he just wanted to do something off his own back to like. He's like, I wanted to do something for charity, but I didn't want to run a 5k or a 10k. He's like, I want to do something that was extremely hard. So like hearing his story, I was like, I want that. And me and James used to always speak about this. I was like, there's something I don't like. David Goggins fucking exposed, like doing hard shit. I was like, I want to feel that grit. I want to get to that point mentally, or even physically, where I think I can't complete this. So anyway, I had a bunch of ideas in my head. 30th came around, life gets in its way, and I never done anything. And then it became the typical time at Christmas and New Year, and I was like, I said I would do a challenge, and I never done it. I'll do one next year. Just this past Christmas and New Year came round. Me and Jill, we sat every year. More so last year and the year before. We sat down and went like, what's our goals for this year? What's one things we want to do personally together? All that sort of stuff. So we're writing them down. And I was like, I never done that challenge again. And I was the mad thing was like I was training for like I was going to carry the barbell on my back, but I was going to carry it a distance rather than up a mountain.
Yeah.
I hadn't worked out what that distance was, but I was like, you know what, I'll start training just now. So that treadmill that's out there, I would put the safety squat bar on my back, and I would go, how long can I go for with 60 kilos on my back? Could get 10 minutes, and I was like, oh fuck, right, I better start training for this now, because I'm definitely going to do this challenge. So yeah, that year passed, which was last Christmas, New Year, and I was like, I've never done a challenge. And I just thought to myself at that point, I was like, I'm going to do one in 3 weeks. I was like, okay, I was like, I'm going to commit to something at the start of January, and I'm just going to see how it goes. So I thought, like, what could I do? And I don't know where the idea came from, but I thought to myself, I'll bench 100 kilos 100 times, and I'll run 100 kilometers around the track, like around the loops. So I was going to do like 100 loops, and then I was going back and forth. So I was like, how does it sound? Quite nice. Then I ended up finalising it on 100 kilometers and 100 kilo bench press. And where that sort of came from was in our world, like it's like the hybrid side of things. You get people, it's like, oh, people are trying to run and lift weights. That's no hybrid side of things. And people were all saying, oh, it's easy to lift weights. And then people were saying, oh, it's easy to run far. And I'm like, I could challenge any long distance endurance guys. I know they wouldn't be able to bench 100 kilos. Like that's like one of the core big feats when you're lifting weights.
That makes you a gym though.
So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. And then I was like, what's a good distance in the endurance world? And 50K is classed as an ultra. And I was like, that didn't even cross my mind. I was just like, I'm going to run 100. Now, I need to preface this, the longest I'd ran at this point was 10K. I never ran beyond 10K. And that was only in the past 6 months. Me and Jill signed up to IROX, and it kind of forced my hand to do a bit more running training. I was liking it, I was enjoying it, but I was struggling to run 10K. So in my head, I was like, right, I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to see how I go. And I was like, did I train for this? And there's a part of me that I look back and I'm like, should I have trained for that? And that's what was going through my mind when I was doing that challenge at the time. But there's a part of me that was just like, no, if you don't do this now, this will be another, you'll delay it, and you delay it, and delay it. So I would never recommend anybody not training for things. Or just jumping straight into it, because you experienced it as well. You're like, fuck man, I've massively underestimated how challenging this would be.
So when I met you here that morning, I was, so to make this clear, I hadn't ran a kilometre. I'd only ran after the van, mate. I had never ran anywhere. And I was like, I came in, it was you and Scotty, I'm sure it was you. It was me and Gary Lee that came in, done my reps. So I done half of you. I was like, I'm going to rep 50 kilo 50 times and run 50k. So like the 50 kilo was sound, man, all good, up there. And I mind the two of you being like, fair play. And I'm like, do they think I can't do this? And I'm like, I can fucking defo do this. I got to like 12 and I was like, fuck man, this is going to be hard. But you should definitely train for something like that. Yeah, so like 100%.
There was a part of me that I was like, what am I doing a challenge in the first place? And I always came back to like, I don't know, I've always been like attracted to that part of people doing these crazy feats, and they always talk about this. It's never physically, it's mentally. And I built a brand around that, the bulletproof mindset side of things. And I was like, can I have a podcast called Bulletproof Mindset when the most you've ever done is a 60-minute training session or a high rocks?
Yeah.
And I was like, these are all things that people can do. And I was like, in a way, I don't think you need to live the brand, but if I believe in this message of like a strong mindset, have I tested my mindset? And I didn't feel like I had. So I was like, the best way I know how to is through fitness, and because that's something I'm a big advocate of. There's other things, like I was like, I might just squat 1,000 times. There's so many different ideas that's out there. So that's what I ended up coming up with, and I thought, right, let's give this a go. The videographer that we're working with we were doing like some high rocks training and that sort of stuff at the same time. He was like, I'm free in this date, so I'll come out, I'll film a bunch of stuff, and if you want, I'm free this date. And I was like, shit, that's only 23 days away from where we are just now. And I thought, fuck it, I'll book it because that's keeping me accountable.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was just like, before I knew it, on Christmas Day, me and Jill ran a half marathon, and that sort of was my
Did you
next
put it on your
longest.
Instagram story?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
So we were
I
away,
remember
so I'd
this.
done a 10k, decided that we was going to do this in 20 odd days' time, and Christmas Day, because we stayed in a lodge for Christmas, it was just me and her. I was like, let's see if I try and run a half marathon. Like, I've never ran that before, but I feel like we could do this. We done it on a handful of Haribos. Took us like 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes, so half decent time. But I was like, oh, that's hard. But then I never met that mental block, and I was like, right, I think I'm gonna scratch an itch here that I've wanted to get, and fuck me, it did hit hard. So the day came.
Like 5:30 in the morning, didn't you?
Yeah. So it took way longer than I thought. Doing the math, I was like, right, I'll wrap up the bench press in about 20 minutes. That ended up taking it was about 40.
Aye.
So I was doing 10 reps, and then straight away I was like, oh wow. I was like, bear in mind as well, like, although I was training, in fact I would say I was more exercising, I wasn't training for like my normal compounds, my strength training or whatever. So I'd like bench press in my routine every now and then, but I was like, fuck man, I thought this would be a lot easier. Just came away from that, cramped up forearms. My forearms were the worst actually.
I remember you complaining about that.
I was like, man, it's my wrists and my forearms that were sore. And there's a track just at the end of the road, so I was down here benching, hit the 100, and I was like, right, cool, first part done. In my head, I was like, I'll wrap this up in 12 hours, based on what I'd worked out, and I started crashing. I think I was on track up until 50 or 43k, because that was a marathon time. I remember going, like, that's a marathon done. I've just got a marathon and a wee bit more to do. That's how I broke it down in my head. But that next chapter was hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of this as well. Like, I was crash coursing fuel, crash coursing what the ultra endurance guys doing, and I was looking at all the food that they consume. And I'm like, fuck, I'm really not giving this much thought at all. So I was trying to I worked out like 90 grams of carbs every hour. I was trying to get about 700 milligrams of sodium, which was fine for hour 1, hour 2, hour 3. I think once I got to like 40k, I was struggling to like consume it and drink, and I was like, and I started falling behind, and then straight away that's where there's a dip in quote unquote performance.
Yeah.
73k was, or 63 or 73k was the number where I was like, this, I might not do this. Not that I might not do this. I was like, we're in for the long haul. Like, for how long it took me to get from 50 to 70 took me longer. Sorry, I done 0 to 50 in the same time. And I was like, this isn't good. I was like, I'm struggling here. It was starting to get dark. The track was icy, and then all the snow melting, and it was raining. And there was a lot of people coming out to support, which I was massively grateful for, seeing what you were doing as well. And I was like, I think when you had left, that's what it became, like those voices in your head. It's like, right, oh, he's done his part now, and it's like, fuck, like, you're doing yours now. It's like, oh shit, this becomes really challenging.
Yep.
And I think I never really got the mental, I guess, not the dark thoughts, but you know what I mean when I say like that, like, why are you doing this? Just give up, until I was alone. So I had company up until about 1 in the morning, or 12, I think it was, about midnight. So I started at 8 in the morning. I'm at midnight. I've got 33k left. It was Scott that said to me, he goes, if you don't pick up the pace, you're going to be here till 7 o'clock in the morning. And when he said that, I was like, just fuck off, mate. And I was like, I don't, and I was like, fuck, he's right. And I was like, I can't expect these, like, Scott was running with us. There was a bunch of people there. And I was like, everybody go home. Like, I've got this, just let me be my own. Like, really appreciate being there, because I went mute. Like, people were like, you all right? And I was like, I just like speaking. I'm shuffling. And they're all talking. There was a good distraction. But again, the distraction wasn't allowing me to feel my own pain or my own thoughts. I was like, oh, my legs are tired, which is obvious, but the voices in your head start creeping in. I remember Gio saying this to me. He's like, why don't you just go to the gym and just run on the treadmill and finish the rest of the 20k on the treadmill? Because it was dead icy at a part of the track, so it would get really slippy, and I think the weather was starting to get like mad. And he said, I was like, no, I'm fine. When he left and I was on my own, I started thinking, how can I cheat this? Because I don't want to tell people that I failed it. I was like, could I go back to the gym and just do that in the treadmill? And I was like, if I do it in the treadmill, I've ran like a kilometre on that, and it's like my PB time. So I know the kilometre on that isn't quite the same as a kilometre on an actual real distance. So all this sort of stuff's going through my head. Jill's with me. I said to Jill to go to the car, just like, bless her, like she wanted to stay there the whole time. I was like, just go to the car, like, go for a sleep if you want. I'm just going to be looking around this track. So it was 250 laps, and I'm counting it. I'm literally like, that's another one done, and then I stop. I think I'm running. I'm like, lucky if I'm pacing. It's taking me like 23 minutes to do a mile, which is walking pace, but I'm running at this point. So that challenge there, that is probably the hardest thing I've done. But what I got out of that was definitely probably more so a bit of is fulfillment the right word? It's maybe like more or less the reason I never gave up in that is because I said I would do it.
Yep.
And there was a load of people put up a poll, do you think I'll complete this challenge or not? And I thought that everyone, must have been about 43 people that said no. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they were saying that out of spite, they were just like, fucking no chance, mate, like, you're not trained for this, you're not doing that. And I thought that would fuel, like, you know, that fucking guy thing's like, yeah, I'm going to prove my haters wrong. None of that was coming out. I was like, I don't care about anyone's opinion here. What I care about most is, you said you would do this, and it's taken you 2 years to get to this point. You've not trained for it, but again, that's your own fault. You're finishing this challenge. And not that I was hallucinating, but I found myself, I was running, and then my breath out, I started like doing like a wee tune. So I was like 90k, and I'm like, you are pathetic. I just kept running. I kept seeing these words, and I found myself laughing at myself, and I'm like, and I would even say things like, who's speaking right now? Is this me or is it my conscious? This sounds so bizarre, but I think when you're sleep deprived and it's that time of the night and you've been running for that long, you do reach this, like, it's not hallucination stage, because I was very aware of my actions, but I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
You need like that wee bit of aggression behind. You're somebody that I can
tap into.
Not a lot of people can, like, you can't use it with everybody, but like giving somebody a wee bit of abuse, and you know, like, can I give myself it? And it gets me going. Like, he's the same. If I tell him, like, you're fucking being pathetic, he'll, like, he gets his back up. But I know it will spur him on. Like, you're obviously the same, but do you think you doing that challenge is like a symbol of what Bulletproof is and what obviously
I think in a way, yeah, because there was parts where I was even saying to myself, I was like, you have a podcast called Bulletproof Mindset and you're going to quit. You're going to quit 7 kilometres away from it. Who cares how long the 7 o'clock? Because I think at that point it was going to take me like an hour and a half and 2 hours. And when it's 3 in the morning, I'm like, I'm not finishing this challenge until 5 if I'm on the pace that I'm on. I was like, I don't think I've got 2 hours in me. And then there was the whole like tough love chat. It's like, what do you mean you don't have 2 hours? You've done this for 6. You've been on this track for 14 and a half hours. What's 2 hours? And it's all that sort of back and forth that go in my head, go through in your head.
You find that, like, some people say, why do you do it? But I think of challenges as, 1, to inspire yourself to get better, 2, to inspire others. But really, it's just an amplified version of what we have to deal with day to day.
Yeah.
Those wee small wins, and it's all. I think it always relates back to, well, you made a promise to yourself, and if you didn't keep it, you will know more than anybody, and you might be able to. You could have said it to everyone once everyone left. I finished that last 7K.
Nobody would have went, yeah, fucking good effort. Like, you done 90.
But even if you say, you could have lied if you, I finished it. you would have always known.
Yeah, so there's like the integrity part. I was like, right, okay, like, I'm more integral than what maybe I initially thought. Even though, like, I'll be honest with the thoughts I had. This whole thing as well. It started or stemmed from conversations I would have with people who struggle getting in the gym and whatever. And the main one that stuck out to us in December, having a conversation with a lady, and I can't remember the exact words, but it was along the lines of like, I've struggled to get into the gym, like I'm really intimidated by it. And I was like, look, everyone is, but you'll be surprised that when you walk through those doors, that will be the hardest thing you ever do. And she was like, that's easy for you to say. And I was like, oh, that's actually a fair point. It's like, have I ever struggled with going through the gym doors? And I'm like, nah. And I was like, what's something that intimidates me? And then straight away the challenge, like, you said you would do something, you never done it. And I'm like, this is the same as somebody walking through the gym doors. This is someone the same as running their first kilometre, lifting weights for the first time. It's like, the extent of what I've done, quote unquote, challenge wise, doesn't necessarily matter because it's the mental challenges is exactly the same. The same high, the same frustrations, the same negative self talk, like all this sort of stuff comes out. And I'm at that point where I was like, right, for me to experience that, I need to do something that's at this level, but it doesn't take away the other stuff.
I remember I got to like 26, and by this time Gio came, and like this was my first time meeting Gio, and he was running with us and whatever, and at this point I was running myself, and he like slowed down and started running with me, and like I remember him, he was asking about me and whatever, and blah blah blah, and I was like, we got into a conversation of what weight I was and what I was doing, and like you ran by me and you were like, you've started it now, basically, because he was just like, you're fucked. He's like, you're not leaving until you do something here. And like, if it wasn't for Gio, I don't think. So I ended up doing like, I can't remember, 36 and a half, 30, I can't remember, something like that. And then you ran out fucking. See, when he told me he was going to finish the rest of me, I was so emotional, bro. I was actually standing there like reading, like, Tony's going to finish the rest of me. Like, I was all over the place, but.
Oh, I'd done them. They've been banked. You need to finish them at some point.
I know. Definitely. I can't understand.
There's a receipt there. I'm sending you an invoice for 13k.
Aye, man. Gio just did like that negative self-talk. He was just like, you got to go home and sit on the couch next to your missus and tell you never even get half of that done. Oh, mate. He was all so, like.
So the weird thing with that is, like, he was doing that and I was like, I couldn't care.
Aye.
Because he's like, what about like what people, the listeners think, or what about people who you coach? And I was like, I honestly couldn't care.
No, you couldn't care in that moment.
Aye.
But just by how your body's always looking for that wee way to escape.
Well, I don't know. See, for me, I was like, that's not resonating with me. But when I got into the conversation internally, it was like, this isn't about anyone else. It's literally about what you, like, it literally came at your word, like, should hold a higher value than what you say it is. Because I think that's like the struggle with, like diet, for example. It's like, right, I'm going to stick to these calories, I'm going to stick to these steps. And then there's a part throughout the week, stress happens, whatever. There's a choice where it's like, oh, this is the skill of discipline and saying what I would do, or doing what I said I would do. Yeah. And that to me, there wasn't, albeit I experienced that through the bodybuilding and everything. Even with that, I was still quote unquote cheating my diet and that sort of stuff without telling my coach and that sort of things. Like, that was all parts of like, right, is that going to define my character, or is it, am I going to put that in the past and do something else? So it wasn't like the negative self-talk. I was like, no, I'm fine to tell people that I've not done this. I'm like, that's not firing me up, man. Like, I'm missing something. Yeah. And when people left, like, I got into that sort of internal dialogue. But funny when you say crying, I sat down in the car at 75k or whatever it was, and Jill was like, I've got you a croissant for Lidl, right? A chocolate croissant. And I sat there, and I started a bit into it. And she was like, you going to cry? And I just started crying. I was like, she's what are you crying about? And I was like, I don't even know. I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I was like, I'm just so emotional just now. I don't know what it was.
I've never felt that euphoric, weird, like, it was such a weird feeling, mate. Like, I couldn't even explain it. Like, I was on the phone, because Rachel was working, I was on the phone to Rachel after it, and I was just, she's like, you alright? And I was like, aye.
Man, it's a mad experience. But I understand, like, you always talk about, or hear about, runner's high. And I've been not anti-running, but I've had quite a hard stance messaging on running for fat loss. Yeah. Because it's the one thing that everybody does. They do more cardio, they do more quote-unquote running to lose fat, and the biggest thing they overlook is strength training, muscle building, all that sort of stuff, right? So for years and years, like I would say, I'm probably turned more people away from running. And I'd say that's probably one thing I've made change my mind on, that the running isn't it's never to lose weight, but there's the gym, there's the lifting weights, it's the other components of that. And I think these sort of endurance stuff, or these endurance events or challenges, whatever you want, whether it's 5k, 10k, they're definitely something that you can get a lot of benefit from, regardless of your fitness and
100%.
performance.
Like High Rocks, all these other places have done really well now. They've given people the opportunity to be challenged. And I think, obviously, coming off that, what you said, you achieved it, which meant it obviously was a challenge worth doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But for anyone listening, do you think being really realistic with your challenge is important? Not because they aren't capable, it's because of they can get that same feeling. I know people normally talk about how like, the best feeling in the world was the first K or the first sale or the first time they reach a certain amount of money or whatever it is. But do you think, again, you want
It's a good question, because it's like it depends on the person, it depends on your stance with things. The one thing I will say is that the first time you do anything, I've had to like remind myself of this. The more quote unquote challenges or events that I've done, when it's the first time, it's like I'm here to enjoy this. I'm trying to win it. Like, so my first High Rocks, like the best experience. I've like me and Jill, we went beautiful holidays, been out with Cooper and all this sort of stuff. For us to do a fitness event together, like that was cool. Like that was one of the coolest things ever. Doing the second one was cool, but it didn't quite like when you do the second one, it's like, oh, I've got a time and I've got all these expectations. What I know me and Jill have both done, so like we're trying to beat those sorts of things. So when you do the first thing, albeit they might have times and all that in your mind, like the whole point of doing it in the first place is the experience. In terms of like setting the challenges, like I think have belief in yourself. I think that so for example, like I knew I'd ran a 10k. Would I have got the same benefit if I said I'm going to do a marathon? I don't know. So would that have been a more realistic challenge? Potentially, but I think there is something to be said about the unrealisticness of the challenge itself. The stupidity part is there's no training for it. Like I'll hands up and say that. But there was a part that was overshadowed by I said I'm going to do this. Like this isn't about doing it well, doing it fast. It's just about fucking doing something. And that you said you were going to do. Let's start there and see where you go. Yeah. So I went on a mad spree after this of like doing things that I'd never done before. Cycling was another one. I signed up to what was the
before we move on to the next challenge, how was the DOMs the next day? Because I remember I'd done 5,000 press ups in a day, and the way I felt after that, I've never experienced pain like it. I couldn't even wash my hair. I was like John Cena, trying to get my hand up and scrub my hair the next day. But how? I'm guessing everybody listening will be like, how did you feel after that?
So the DOMs, the sorest DOMs of it came from the bench press, and I don't know if it's because as you bench, you've done those 100 reps, which in the grand scheme of things took me 40 minutes versus 17 hours to run 100k. Yeah. The time, like being stuck in that fixed position, might have a part to do with it. But I don't know why did we've got must just be like a pillow in the house. It's like the pregnancy pillows, but Jill had one of them. I was like, I need to put pillows on the arms because them to rest like this is killing my pecs, and my pecs were rock solid like for about fucking 3 days. I couldn't straighten out my arms. I couldn't lift my arms above my head. My legs, I couldn't quite bend my knees and my ankles. But that was a Sunday into the Monday. By Saturday, I'd done a track session with Scott. So we done 400 metres. Like the plan was to do 10 of them because we had Manchester High Rocks 2 weeks after this. And that's where I picked up like a bit of a niggle because I think I went back to the track too fast to do a training block. So I remember my legs were sort of recovered okay-ish. Like they were still, the DOMs were sore, but the pec, like my arms and my upper body, like my traps. I think that's what I've always been big advocates of, like free weights and your compound list. I'm like, the bench press is such a fucking great movement because I was feeling it everywhere in my upper body. I was like, my back has got a pump from pressing, which makes no sense from I guess an everyday lifter. But when you know a wee bit more about biomechanics and the different muscles that are needed to like protract and retract, I was like, this is great. But the DOMs were insane.
My joints were all killing me, and that was it. Like just my fucking knees and hips that were just sore.
How were you? I remember even doing that press up challenge. I had the ick for press ups for about 5 years. I was like, I just don't want to do these, but
5 years.
I got on the bench for the first time last week.
you
No, I think
continue to run, or?
no. So to be fair, like this has been a big year of longer running for me, and I don't know if it spurred from that. Maybe I didn't run for a while. I think if I look back at my Garmin and things like that, I don't think I picked running back up until like Aprilish, maybe even May time. Because the only reason I continued to run was because we were training for High Rocks and we were trying to get like a sub 60 minute. Once that was done, it sort of was like, right, what am I doing? Focusing on business, coaching, all these sorts of different things. So kind of took the back seat, but from June onwards, I would say I've kind of been very hooked on this longer part, or this longer endurance part.
Yeah.
So the next one I want to get more into these longer endurance runs, but still kind of my identity's always been the guy who lifts weights, like strength and longevity and all that sort of stuff. And I want to retain that strength, but bring it over into this longer endurance. I think if you look at like ultra endurance guys, it's like most of them have this sort of stick thing physique. They have to be lighter, which makes sense for the durations that they're, or the distances that they're covering. I don't know, I just want to see like what am I capable of in terms of keep retaining that strength.
Yep.
Also bring that over there. They always say like not that I would never class myself as the hybrid guy, but the whole hybrid argument of running and lifting is like you're weaker than the bodybuilders or weaker than the average lifter and slower than the runners or something like that. But to me, it's like, right, can I be stronger than the runners and can I be faster than the lifters? That's really what matters, and the bars, like, that'll keep me happy.
Yeah,
I think a big part as well, that people think of fitness, yes, of course, aesthetics, looking a certain way, training a certain way is important, but you also want to feel a certain way. And I think if you don't have that cardiovascular fitness, if you aren't, I think you always know when you're not fit. So I think something like adding in running, or if you can't run, doing some sort of CV work is so important, I feel, to just any aspect of fitness, whether it's bodybuilding or...
For me, and this was another thing as well, like it definitely was a bit arrogance, like doing some of these challenges, where it was like, right, strength training's been a massive component. That sort of was my messaging up until like the start of this year, and mobility training as well. It was something I put a lot of time into at the start when I sort of done that bodybuilding show, and I was like, man, I'm fucking tight, I can't turn around, like my mobility in my shoulders, can't hold a bar on my back. So dove into this whole, right, what's exercise? I can do an exercise here, and in one session I can now reach my hand onto a bar fine or better. So I went down the rabbit hole with that. So there's a part of me is like, right, how like resilient is the human body if trained in this sort of... So I was never training for aesthetics or training even for strength. I had strength goals that personally I wanted to hit, but at the end of the day it was like, I'm going to keep down compound list because these movement patterns are important to longevity. I'm going to keep maintaining my strength because strength is good for muscle mass, and sort of everything else should take care of itself, and it did. And then I never done any of this cardiovascular training. We signed up to High Rocks. It's like, right, cool, let's start running. It's like, yeah, let's do 10k at the track and 2k in. I'm like, I said to Charles, like, my ankles and my shin. I was like, I'm struggling here. I was like, okay, right. It's going to be interesting to see how this translates. And I'd say I thought I was fit because mobility was good, had no pain, and felt good in my aesthetics, was strong, or had strength, sorry. But then I had this part where I was like, yeah, you don't need to run to lose fat. And I was like, but and you try to lose fat? And it's like, no. It's like, right, well, you should be running for your cardiovascular health. Like, or you're not that you should be running, you should be doing something towards your cardiovascular health. I was doing nothing.
Yeah.
I was getting my steps in, and that was about it.
And you're somebody that, do you still feel an emphasis on aesthetics is important, or is it something for you personally? Is it?
I think everybody still always wants to look good, right? There's no denying about that, but the strength of being the biggest or the most shredded or aesthetic in the room, I managed to break that sort of image. Maybe, in fact, our honeymoon was when I kind of officially cut ties with it. I was training the same cycle, training to get in shape for a holiday, come off the holiday, try to get bigger, try to get aesthetic. You'd be in that circle. And the bodybuilding kind of stint, I say it didn't ruin it for me because it's an experience and you take responsibility for your own actions, perception, that sort of stuff. But what was I doing? I was posting the pictures of me in shape, so I knew that would get more engagement. That feeds my ego, get a dopamine hit from that.
Yep.
And then when I'm not meeting that standard, I'm not feeling good in myself. It's got nothing to do with being in shape or not. It really stems from this social media pressure, because it's like, I wasn't a coach at this point as well. It's like, Dale's the fitness guy, or the guy that's in fit shape, and that's my identity.
Yep.
And my identity and self-worth felt tied to that. So this whole stint of like, I was like your pro bodybuilder, or the weekend warrior, or whatever you want to call it, in my corporate job, and would focus purely on aesthetics for getting in shape. And then when I started finding out about like squatting and deadlifting, I always knew about them, but I was like, you don't need to do that to get in shape. But hearing the message of like compound lifts, having a bigger bang for your buck, I was like, I'm going to see if I can. You get bored with anything, don't you? So I was like, I'm bored with this routine. Let me see what I can do. And I was like, oh shit, I can't squat. And then I remember the messaging, or the guys I was listening to on the podcast. It's like, people don't squat because it's hard to squat and they're not willing to put the time in to learn how to squat. Yeah. I thought, right, let me put the time in and learn how to squat. And I was like, I'm doing less volume and all that bodybuilding work, and I feel better. And in the mirror, I'm seeing a better physique. Whether it's all fucking subjective at the end of the day. But that feeling, it's like, right, it's about numbers on the bar, not numbers on the scales or what I see in front of the mirror. So that sort of was breaking this cycle about aesthetics. I was still training, like I'll be honest, I was training, so I was like, well, I feel like I'm in good shape, or like be in good shape. And then it became, oh man, I can't squat, or now I can squat, or I can squat 60 kilo, or I can squat 80 kilo. And that sort of leads you on this journey for a couple of years.
Do you think that's I was having this debate with myself recently because I had an operation 3 weeks ago, so I couldn't train.
Right.
Nothing big, just I couldn't train for 3 weeks. And it wasn't, I started to realise that I'm still in shape, but there's no denying that.
Yeah.
I still feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But what the worst thing about it for me wasn't through choice, I physically couldn't do it. I couldn't train hard, but I couldn't train at all. So the more I thought about it, I get back to training. And I was like, it's not the why, it's not to look a certain way I train, it's more the I like training hard because it makes me feel good, and the byproduct is I might be in shape and I might feel good about that, but again, like you said, it's subjective. So you're going to go, it's the fun bit's actually doing the hard stuff. And I think when you're just starting training, I've said that myself, like, it's the most unfulfilling thing in the world when you're not training as hard as your body's capable of doing so. And that's how I think a lot of people end up going, this is fucking shit. I don't like strength training. I don't do this. I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just that you aren't capable of training yourself hard time after time.
Aye, so your training hard it's all relative, isn't it? Because when you start, you think, right, the harder I train, the bigger I'll get. And then you go on this, and it's like the intensity part starts to play. Because I wish I had some of my wee guy energy. I couldn't do an 8-hour arm day now. I no way I could go into the gym and last more than 3 hours.
I'm going to try it at Christmas.
Are you?
Aye. My idea was to try it and dress up as Santa. And that would be my
Santa
Christmas
Piana.
challenge. Aye, man.
Santa Piana.
That's it, mate. That's it. Nail in the head, man.
In respect.
100%.
To do it in his birthday whenever it is. Or
Hopefully December.
Aye.
Aye,
Like
definitely.
Ben and Jerry's side
Good
things.
idea,
Aye.
But I think I love fitness, and I love the training side of things, and I think that's something I always want to challenge myself on, is experiencing the different camps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this sort of self-awareness came from, but I think listening to other perspectives and podcasts, I resonated with the message of everybody's right, the bodybuilders, the crossfitters, the high rockers, the endurance, the runners, like everybody's right, but the problem with fitness is everybody has their own camp and thinks because something works for them, it should work for everybody.
Mate, I'm in full agreement with that. Like, that's something that really annoys me as a whole in social media.
Yeah.
It's like more than one thing can be right. Like, it doesn't need
You
to
can
be.
understand it because obviously people have a bit of passion and
Yeah, absolutely.
their
like,
own anecdotal evidence on it.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit like there's plenty of ways to, you see it as well just now with like the old school bodybuilding, the new scale bodybuilding or whatever it is, however you
Yeah.
want. But I think there should just be a middle ground of going, I respect you because you train hard. I respect you because you train hard. Because there'll be people on both, like both sides of that
Who's to say
argument.
who's right or wrong? Like, if I think I always like the Jordan Peterson's daughter. What's her name? She's a big advocate of what's that diet called? It's just meat. I forgot.
Carnivore?
Carnivore. She's a big carnivore person,
Yep.
and it removed a lot of her inflammation and her.
Yeah.
It literally saved her life. So if I do something that saves my life, I'm going to be the biggest advocate and biased towards like this is the savior, this is the be all and end all. And when you try and push that message on other people either get on board with it, or the people who have their own opinions and their biases, they start challenging it. No, that's all their shit, and that's where you see the whole. That's where beef like starts from. No
Yeah.
pun intended there, but
Yeah.
but like with things like that, if I do like, for example, when going out longer runs, I'm like, man, I feel great after this. Let me get more people into running. It's like, no, like, I like the idea of hearing an opinion or giving an opinion and going like, this is my experience. You need to get your own experience, whether it is bodybuilding shows or it's the strongman shows, whatever it is you want to do. But like literally, there is something to be said about doing a challenge or doing something that's hard and what you'll get from it.
So obviously, people take. I took a positive influence to it, mate.
Mm.
Like I literally, you put it up saying somebody willing to date with me, and I might just sit on the couch and say, fuck it, I'll try it, man. Never told Tony to the night before it. He thought I was mad with
He's
it.
like, what's your check-in pictures?
So there's obviously a positive influence out there for what it is you've been doing, mate. Like
Yeah.
clearly.
What date was it you told me, and like you wrote a big message out and all that, and I was like,
I told you, I told you on
something
the.
like, don't fucking ever like try and spring that on me the night before again. Like, of course I'd support you. Like,
It was on the Sunday, and I think I told you like half night of the Saturday night. I was like, mate, I was thinking about it all week too. I was like, how did I tell? Do you know why?
I think I looked at Molly and I went, he's been drinking. Like, I genuinely did
That was
say
the
that.
message you sent me back. Have you been drinking? And I was like, no, man. But I was at a party though. I was at a party, and I was like, right,
So
how?
it was.
It was my cousins or something, man. It was my uncle's. That's what it was. And I was like, how did I tell him, man? And I think I was like, you're going to be annoyed that I've no trained for this.
not even in the house resting up yet, so he's at a party.
I'm going to be sleep deprived going into this as well.
Aye.
But
so,
like, see if I was coaching myself at that point and my client came to me and said that, like, that's the weirdest thing about this whole thing. Like, that wouldn't have been the best advice that I would have said to me
yeah.
if I was my coach, if that makes sense.
Aye.
But it's all is it something I'd do again? Like, that's what I was about to say. I went on this stint of going, let me see how far I can push this. Like, I've never cycled before, so let me do an 85-mile, they're called ETAPs, like round this course. Done that, and I was like, that was all right. It was 65 first, and I was like, let me do a longer one. Was in a hole for it. Like, I was like, right, I need to stop. I actually said, because I'd done a vlog for one of them, and I was like, I need to stop signing up to things and no training for them. Like, this actually needs to stop, because I was in that much a hole, and I was like, I've already proven to myself that I can go into this hole mentally and go, this is fucking hard, but you're going to finish it. And you're feeling every metre of the mile when there's 25 miles left. It's like, why are you doing this to yourself? It's like, would it not be better to do some of these things for the first time with better performance? So when I'd done half marathon like races with Cooper, they're like some of the first times I've done them as an actual event. I've had the same buzz off it, because it's like, I've trained for this. Like, there's a different feeling that way, because you've went, it's in a way, like what we've done in January, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is, it's cringy to say, but they always talk about the journey leading up to something.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where there's a lot of tests of your discipline, your mentality, your
Yep.
character, the whole doing what I say would you do. It's just the events like that's like the sticker, the reward, or the trophy. But the reality of where the growth is in that training period, whether it's 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, 12 months.
And how important do you think it is for anybody listening to this is why you should do it for yourself? Because I feel that maybe nowadays you get this, people that are maybe social media driven, or they're doing it for all the wrong reasons. You spoke about all the fulfillment and inspiration it's giving you and what it's brought into your life. Like, how important is it to stay back from the whole that please give me gratification and attention for it, rather than this is to make me a better man, this is to bulletproof my mind, it's to make me better going forward?
I think, like, just listen to people's messaging, but I think, see if you're being brutally honest, looking back to that, the reason I done a bodybuilding show was, yes, it was something I wanted to do and all that sort of stuff. There's a part of me as well was like, I'm going to get a bunch of attention if I do this. Now, I'm deep into a relationship. It wasn't about trying to get the right partner. It was just, I craved that social media attention. I don't think hearing advice at the age of 22 or 21, 22, 23, whatever age I was, somebody tell me, look, like it's fine, like they're fine if that's what you want to do it for, but try and get a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have listened, but I think sometimes you maybe have to do it and go, right, actually, I don't really like,
They
what
were
do the
right.
likes mean? And that's really what it comes down to, is like, what does that social proof mean? And the true dopamine done, or the true hit of got like this amazing feeling is like, you've done something that was you considered that you would never be able to do or was hard once upon a time. I think that's the whole high rock
And
stint.
do you think
just now.
that's a whole, it then goes back to that individual self-worth? You
Absolutely, I
you
think
tick a box there to make you just rely on yourself a wee bit more.
Aye.
Whereas
You get self-belief in what
Yeah.
you said you would do. And I think that's where there's an element of exposing yourself to hard things, and why resistance training is a kind of, I always refer to it as like resistance training, because it's like a bit of resistance where you think, I can't do that, and then you do it. So it's like, oh, I can never do 6 reps, and you do 6 reps. And you're like, oh, I can never do that weight, and you do the weight, and then you do an extra rep, and then you do more. It's like the
incremental.
micro adversities. Like they always talk about, like, you need to expose yourself to like adverse situations and not be like a victim within it, going, right, man, like I genuinely tried there, but that still wasn't good enough. What can I do? Back to the drawing board, not being defeated and all that sort of stuff. But that's where you get like confidence from, I guess, confidence to do things. But yeah, they're all reasons to expose yourself to. We're branding this as challenges. It can be literally anything you do in life. Like it could be genuinely talking in front of people. It could be sitting down doing your podcast for the first time. It could be recording your first piece of content. They're all things that you're like, ugh, don't know if I can do that. If that's a default setting when you say you're going to do something, then it's a chance to, like, once you do that, there is a reward after that of you going, fucking hell, that felt good, I've done that.
I think there's something so powerful as for any young guys listening about doing the things that after you give yourself a pat in the back.
Absolutely.
And you're proud and you know it's not faked. I think again, like, don't know if like you think of this, but I think men in general know when we're being humoured. See when somebody goes, oh yeah, but you're doing all right, and I think like we all know that, no, I know you're taking the piss at me right now. So I think we all naturally need that, I done that hard thing.
Yeah.
And then everyone else can give you a wee nod and go, you said it before you done it and you came through, well done, rather than going, oh well, you nearly finished, that's all right. Like, we always know that, and I think any other guy saying that to you that knows that
like
as well.
accepting the defeat in a way. I think the men's this is an episode I'm sitting on. I've still not recorded it, but the whole men's mental health thing is an interesting conversation, because I do think there's a big part of it that you can get men to speak more and you can get them to do that, but there's something internally that you need to work on yourself first. I think you can only start there, and you can talk all you want, but to me it's never, and again, this is just my bias, it's never resonated with me, because I wouldn't say I'm not got a massive. In fact, I probably can count 2 to 3 people, and one of them's Gillian and Cooper, that I would consider myself as like close friends that I would open up with. That there's something to be said that if that circle was bigger, would that fix some of the maybe depression or the challenges I face? That it's not. It's when you're alone and when you have that silence. That's when it comes out for all of us as men. And if you can't deal with those voices or deal with the self-talk or how you're speaking to yourself, then it's just going to spiral even more, no matter how many, like me patting you in the back going like, yo, it's all right, like I'm here for you. That'll be the first part that opens up, but it's never going to, I don't think it truly solves it. It makes it feel okay in the moment. But there's something to be said. It's like, right, why are you feeling that way? Oh, it's because you've said you would do so many things and you've not actually done them. Like, you don't believe in yourself. Like, find something that you can believe in first. And back to a question you asked earlier, like, do you think you need to be realistic? That's where that part probably comes in. Like, if you keep signing up to things and then bailing out last minute, then like, be realistic. I always made a joke in the New Year episodes that we used to do. At the start of the year, it was always like, right, how do you gain traction? How do you gain momentum? Set a list of things you want to do for the day. And if you've never done them for the day, you've made that list too hard. Literally make them so stupidly simple. Brush your teeth, make your bed. So I'll brush my teeth anyway, well, just put it down, because the art of writing it down and going, oh fuck it, actually,
builds
I feel better in myself because I'm doing more than what I think. But what's the pain in someone's mind? It's like you only remember the stuff you haven't done, not the stuff that you take for granted all the time. Like,
Yep.
and I got into a hole a lot with that over this past couple of years, where it was like, man, I just feel like I'm moving my coaching career forward. I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing here. And I was like, I need to step back. Like, what is happening here? Like, I've got a good amount of clients, I've got good relationships with them all, but I was focused on the bad thing. I think it's good to have for direction and that to move forward, but there's so much like to unpack in the, like, just giving yourself like, oh no, it's okay, like just let it be okay. It's like it is. Nobody's. I would never slag anyone for not completing a challenge or not doing what they said they would do, but the harsh conversation to like maybe some of the chat that you were having with Jay was like, look, is it like there's a reason you want to do this and there's a reason you haven't done it, so let's meet in the middle and let's get a wee bit of momentum and build towards that.
Even the realistic part, that full conversation was there with Gio. Gio was like, realistically, 50's probably got about your depth, but I was like in the 20 odds, and he just spoke until I was at 30 odd, whatever. He like, I didn't say anything. They were just like, if you go home and you sit on the couch tonight and you haven't passed, say I said to him, I want to get to 32 and we got to 36 or whatever it was. He's like, if you go home and you sit on the couch tonight, he says, everybody run about you's got to be like, you've done really well, like, chill out and wind down and blah, blah, blah. He says, but you've got to sit on the couch and you've got to know you never said you done what you were, no, you never done what you said you were going to do. That's what he was like, just basically grilling me. But like you said earlier, like that just works for me. Like that just...
it's a part you can tap into.
And some people would just instantly be like, no, like that's too much or blah, 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 take offence. Whereas for me, it is like the harsh reality. I actually have one of my mates that still is like disappointed, like just straight up like...
Yeah.
Like,
you always will get there. But see what a privilege it is to even do some of these things, right? But see, when you think about it, it's like, you could have done that or not done it, and it wouldn't have changed anything. But it's now created a conversation with you and your mates, or you and Tony, or even us here. And it's like, we're now talking about something of the deeper meaning here is like we're trying to improve our physical ability. We're also trying to improve our mental ability, and our mental ability goes hand in hand with the life that we live.
100%.
And that's really what it comes down to. So let's say I done 90k and I did bail out the last 10k. I could happily sit here, not be a victim to it, but very much how you're doing it and going here. I was willing to give up at 70, but you know what? I'm proud of myself. I pushed to 90, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to beat that challenge one day. Like, you can spin that in so many different ways, and I think having the ability to not be too hard on yourself to an extent where it's seen as a failure, but always take the positives, always take the experiences from it.
It always comes from like just giving it 100%. That you can then go, right, I've got that wee bit. It maybe wasn't the number I set out, but it was everything I had.
Yeah.
I think once you do that, that's when your doors start opening and you can sit in a room and actually go, do you know what? Like, have a bit of confidence in what I've done because it was everything.
For sure.
I'm going to spin off and give a wee quick one. Just when we're talking about kind of, not so much men's mental health, but I don't know, I know you would agree with me on this one because we spoke about it the other day. Probably more so for the women listeners. See when men go into the house and we sit on the couch, we no TV on, and we look like psychopaths, but we just want to sit and chill and peace and quiet. Let your man do that. And what I will say to you women is, there's nothing wrong with us.
No.
It's just that we love doing that and it charges our batteries back up. I've spoke to so many guys that are 100 miles an hour and they love nothing more than just sitting chilling. But again, it's maybe just it's a male and female thing. Women think there's something wrong and they get, what's wrong with you? And you're trying to diffuse it and go, there's nothing wrong.
It's like he's probably thinking about other girls and it's like, ... The man's like just like, I'm honestly thinking about nothing.
Mate, I think it's the best thing in the world, just sitting chilling. I can do it sitting in the car. I can do it lying on a hill. I love just peace and quiet. And it's because I think as men, like, we are just, women listening to us, you do not want to be in our heads. Like, it's just a thing.
Silence, they always say, is like the killer of men's mental health. But I've always seen it from another perspective. And it was when me and James done the podcast, he would be someone who's like, I hate spending time alone. And I was coming from the point, I was like, when Jill goes away, like I get this, like I've really found to value the time when I'm spent alone. And I think it's like, there's a big gap between those two things, absolutely. But I was like, what is it I enjoy about the silence? And it wasn't to say, oh, thank God Jill's away and that sort of stuff, it was just in my head. It's like, I've not created a space in my day where there's no talking, there's no thoughts. It's just that void, that sort of
It's just
emptiness
you and
in your head.
the person that matters the most, which should be yourself.
Exactly.
Because if
You need to be it.
if you can't be in that moment, then you're going to struggle with so many other areas of your life. But I seen it was a woman psychiatrist talking about it, saying we are totally different, and women just have to let their men do this. There's nothing wrong. It's just very common, especially with men that do work really, really hard. They're trying to progress in life. They sometimes need different things to what women should. So that's just a message to the women. It's, we're not doing anything wrong. We just want to sit, charge up, and we're good to go again. I know Gillian said it the other day. She's like, I just went talk, and I went, Molly does it as well. And I've told them time after time that there ain't nothing wrong with it.
Honestly, it was one of like the most peaceful parts of the week are when I get in the house. I used to do this when me and Jill first moved in together and we stayed in Nottingham. So she had her job, I had mine, and I would always come home like roughly about 45 minutes before her, and I would never put on the TV and I would never turn on the light. I would just sit in the living room, and as it got darker I was like, I'm so relaxed, man. Like there was just something like that was so therapeutic, which is so it's funny that you bring it up. But I wonder how many.
I know. Sometimes, like, obviously, if I go home, sometimes, mate, Rachel's day can just be chaos. Like, out walking dogs, up at the field, this, that, and next time, come in, Doug's running about mental, Charlotte's causing havoc, blah, blah, blah. I come in, I want a 5 minute, but sometimes I can't, because I need to come in and kind of take charge, like take the reins.
But I mean, when you get it, do you enjoy it?
I love it. I never see if I'm ever myself. You will never walk into the house and I'll be myself watching TV unless Select's on. Ever, mate. I do not do it. I literally come down. I'll tell you what else I do, mate. I strip clean off. If nobody's in my house, mate, I have nothing on. Honestly, hand on heart, I can confidently say that. Like
Adam and Eve in it.
Aye, mate.
What I'm trying to say is, women, see if you're listening to this, just let your man just sit in the
Be
couch,
naked.
ball
Aye,
naked.
Don't
Just
stop to
chill out.
Tommy's under the house.
There's nothing wrong with us. We're just
Aye.
fucking scatty.
Aye, sometimes 100%, mate. I totally get that, and I've also had those conversations. I think it's that everybody's different in it. Every other situation's mad. Like some people have 2 and 3 kids, and maybe guys don't get that opportunity because, on the other hand, women have been the same all day. If they aren't at work, or if they're working, then they need to come get the kids first. Or if they're not working, they've got kids all day, and you come home and you think, oh, I just want to chill. But hand in hand, Missy's been dealing with Wayne's all day. This, that, and next thing. She needs that too. But I totally agree. Mine's is at night, mate, because Rachel and Charlotte usually go to bed before me. So usually, and I actually prefer it that way, mate, because I've had my tea, I can just sit down, I usually message her late at night.
Yep.
I can sit down, mate, I can look at my phone, I can do sweet hee-haw, mate, sit on the couch and do nothing. All cool.
And then, see if you think to the whole conversation around challenges with mental health, men and women. Me and Jill spoke about this quite a lot. It's like, you need to create space in your day to have that silence, because you have all these distractions, all the stress of getting back to clients, getting back to messages, whatever it is, and you get that period of alone time or loneliness as it's referred to, and you go, right, I need to take care of these tasks, but you never truly clear your feet to get to the silent part. And I think that's really where the value is, and like me and Jill have a really good relationship where we can respect that time for each other, sort of stuff as well. So although it was like a tongue-in-cheek type of thing, like in the mornings I was saying, like we used to start going out in the mornings together, so it's like, right, let's start our day walking, and I was like, I prefer like getting up in the morning, just not having to say anything and not having to speak and not work. I just like being with my thoughts and digesting what I'm doing throughout the day, and I had to communicate that. But if I didn't communicate that, well, I didn't at the start, and what ended up happening was she's thinking,
what's wrong?
Aye, what's wrong with him? Or she's thinking, she's like, he's not even responding to some of the things I'm excited about. And that is a responsibility I need to take to go, like, it's not that I don't care. It's not that I'm not excited about your day or I'm not showing any interest. It's like, I'm just stuck in this, like the start of the day is for me. So we've kind of, we still walk together sometimes, but she's got her morning routine and I've got mine.
Aye.
And I think that's important to yours.
Massively,
like,
mate.
Create
honestly.
the space.
Aye, like that's even, we are now at a point where that is the case. Like we'll get up, it's like passing ships, kiss, good morning, do our thing. Like I'll go down, rise and shine, sups, open up my laptop, sit for 5. Like just all the wee things, the things that you taught me and all, like that I go on most of this from you. Any sort of routine in my life, I go off the back of you giving me advice on it. Like, just taking time to yourself. Because, like, my house has just always been the maddest place, mate. Like, a hot spot for all my mates, always at all times of the day. Like, I could fall asleep, this has got to sound mental, mate. I could fall asleep at like 8 o'clock at night, and it would be like 8 of my mates in the room, and wake up and 6 of them fell asleep in the room too. Like, it was chaos. So for years I never had that time. That probably plays into a load of other issues to the way that I was probably because of that, not just making habits, like my habits outside of that, to actually have the time to just settle. And everybody used to always be like, oh, does that not annoy you? Does that not do you nothing? But when I was like 16, 17, 18, mate, smoking weed every day, my pals carrying on, fucking loved every minute of it. I'm like, what do you mean? Does that annoy me? It's brilliant. But you take a step back and actually experience a bit of peace and time for yourself, you're like, how the hell did I do that, man? That was chaos.
It's just evolution, though, isn't it? It's like how you develop as an individual. That's
What
what it
did you
comes
say?
down
Look,
to.
the biggest part in all of that, yes, we need our silence. Maybe women need to understand that more, but we both need to communicate that. That's a lesson
100%.
that I have learned, and it's the most valuable thing you can.
Yeah,
Just talk it out and say, right, I need this right now, and I'm going to come back better. You can give me that, great. There'll be things in life that your partner would need, but that's when you start seeing the spiral of things going wrong, when you are unable to communicate. It's the biggest asset you can, and it will definitely improve your mental health. There's no question about it, because it's just transparency to say, I am at this point, I need X, Y, and Z for you, and I can give this back, and it's always good on that end. But
I think that goes for a whole though. Like, I need to put my hand up there and say my communication, as of recent, somebody in this room will tell you, has been pathetic. Like, as in pathetic, mate. And like, I know that, and I've got better at it, but I need to continue to get better at it.
Communication's a hard skill. That was the one piece of thing I was like, I always hear you need to communicate, you need to communicate. Communication skills are one of the best skills you can develop, and I was in leadership roles and all this sort of stuff. And then I was like, oh wait, this shows up in my relationship, it shows up in my friendships, it shows up. I was like, how the fuck do you get better at communication? Is it just talking? But it's underpinned with every argument, every fallout, everything. It always comes down to a communication issue. And what's behind communication is emotion, anger, happiness, sadness, all that sort of stuff.
Ability to be seen and heard.
Yep.
So if you can just get that across, and I spoke to you, like, and as your life gets continuously better, which is, I think, it's happening with Tommy's life, there's a element of character that needs built to, and not so much to get there, but to keep you there.
Yeah.
So he's learning that skill. Right, I'm at this point, but I need the skill set of communication in this case to keep me here, so that I can sustain it, I can move forward. It's the same in relationships, coaching relationships. It's imperative that we have that. I think, like you're saying, like, we can just if we can learn that skill, so many doors start opening for you, because it's just that openness to go, well, if I can be better, then people are going to respect me more, and I can push on for there. But I think we move on to another important thing. The place we're sitting in, something that's how we all met each other. If you want to just kind of talk about one, how it came around, maybe the plans for it, what it's meant for you, your circle, you and Gillian, and how we've ended up at this very point.
Yeah, it's such an interesting one, because it was never really on the cards to run as a business. It was never meant to be a business, and I go through so many emotions with it. So kind of coming back, like I was coaching in the gym floor, and one of the girls I was coaching was training her for a wedding. She was like, "Oh, Scott, my husband, he wants to speak to you about this opportunity coming up." And he sat me down and says, "I'm getting this building. I don't need the both sides of it. We're going to split the building in two. Do you want to run a gym?" And I thought, I don't really want to run a gym, but in this time, as a side note, I started podcasting myself. For me, podcasting was an outlet to develop that communication skill. I learned all my information, took a lot of inspiration and self-development and for my own character by listening to other guys talk about health and fitness.
Yep.
And I always envisioned that when I would make this leap into health and fitness and start coaching other people, I liked the idea of having a podcast with telling my story, having my journey shared on it, been there forever, but also the skill. What I didn't realise at the time, but as I would post these episodes, getting the opportunity to look back and go, I thought I said that pretty good, but that was quite a shit way of saying that. And then just hearing and being able to talk about the same subject in so many different ways. So the podcast was something that I had a lot of passion to do. Met James and brought him in on it, but it was truly I was like, I'm doing this regardless. It'd be great if you want to come on board, and if you do, then great. And lo and behold, he said yes, and we had a wee bit of a different dynamic that ran for a period of time. So there was a cost element to that. When getting this opportunity to have this building, I was like, let me go and see it. And there's a bunch of gym equipment that was in here, and it was like you could get it for buttons, you could get squat racks. I think I could spend $5,000 and I got like 9 squat racks. I got the old rusty barbells, some weights, machines and all this sort of stuff. So I was like, right, that's a pretty good deal. Because I'd done a budgeting exercise when I was in, I got my first leadership role, and I was like, it'd be cool to own a gym one day. And I was like, done the cost, and I was like, oh, gym equipment's quite expensive. And I'm sure I remember at the time it was like, I was like, I'm going to need like £85,000 to fucking open up a gym. So hearing that I only needed 5 to get a majority of the equipment, minus the floor and barbells and maybe some weights, I was like, okay, maybe I could make this work. And then I was like, do I run it as a gym? And then initially I said no. I was like, look, I'm going to think about this, but I don't think I want to run a gym. I was like, Airdrie, there's not many. There's Peak Fitness across the road, or was Peak Fitness, Ultimate Fitness, Revs. And then I was like, oh, there's a JD just about to open up 5 minutes down the road. I can't compete with that. And I actually don't know why I never had but group coaching wasn't as prevalent as it is today than just 3-4 years ago, which is mad. Group coaching was Boxercise, Les Mills, and it was classes that gyms put on for the sake of putting them on. There was some small group facilities, but they were run as boot camps. Yep. So I had a very strong stance on boot camps, and I would probably say I've changed my mind on that, but not that I went after them. I was like, you're just doing star jumps for the hour, but that's on the coaches that were teaching them. Like, there was some fucking wild shit again. They're claiming it's strength building, and no, you're getting stronger at star jumps. Like, there's not much happening here.
Step and a 2 kilo kettlebell. Yeah.
So see if I had the information that I do now, and the same opportunity came up, I'd probably say, regardless if there's a JD gym opening across the road, I would have confidence to run this as a gym group coaching facility. But I never had that experience. And that wasn't even on my radar. And the podcast I listened to, they had a studio, and I was like, one day I'll have a studio, and it'll just be a bigger version of my garage gym. And in that, I'll have a podcast studio. So when I came in and walked around and seen this place, I was like, I seen a vision straight away. I was like, I'll build a wee room there, and that's where we can podcast. And I was like, and I'll just have the gym floor here, and that's where I can record my content. Don't need to do any of that. So that's where that all started from. Built the podcast studio, not to run as a podcast business, but just
for your podcast.
For me, I was like, it makes sense to have my own look, my own style, my own studio. I've learned everything myself, so I learned how to edit, and I had this sort of creative itch to like learn it more, and I was like, this is quite fun to do. So it's always been like helping people with health and fitness, and then when it came to like the, I guess, marketing content, I really like doing that. I don't know how you guys find like creating social media posts and all that sort of stuff. It's usually like off-putting for most people.
Yeah.
I had fun with it. That's how me and James connected, because it's like we'd have fun with the videos that we'd done.
Yeah.
I was like, I get a bunch of like these are actually dead fun to do. So that was built, and it was running well, and try to get clients in here and grow my coaching business while growing the podcast. And it got to, there was another person that I used to be friends with. He was in Bali, I think it was at the time, and he was like, when I come back from Bali, like I'll need a gym to PT from. So I thought a good way to subsidise my rent was like offer it to other PTs to. So then I basically have the place for free and don't have to worry about bills and that sort of stuff. So I said, yeah, I'll let you do here. He had a podcast as well, and he's like, can I use the podcast studio? I was like, yeah, batter in. He's like, I don't know how to edit. He's like, could you edit it? I was like, yeah, sure. Someone else asked. Lo and behold, that model, long story short with this, it just became word of mouth. Next one. I was like, this is interesting. And I think this is where my, like, running a business I never really felt I was running a business as a coach, but I knew I would have to do something if it was going to have some sort of longevity, because every time I went on holiday, I'm like, fuck, I'm struggling to keep that. This isn't a good business if every time I go on holiday I don't make money. And do I go on holiday multiple times throughout the year? No, but there's going to be times where I'm going to have stints away from work, because there is more to life than just being in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just liked the idea of the studio business. So when I was naming the place, like the podcast, we went back and forth with a bunch of different names, and there was something where like I liked Bulletproof Mindset. I just liked the idea of like, you're not like this resilience and this whole, like, it's not saying it's indestructible, but it's saying like you can develop this resilience. It's going to be a resilient mindset. There was so many different play on words. I don't know, but Bulletproof was something I settled on. So rather, I was going to call this place like Bulletproof Gym or something like that. And I was like, I like the idea of studios. Studios sounds nice, but that was it. And then it ended up, I think, because that idea was like there was like a seed planted in my brain. When there was an opportunity to help more people or use the studio, I quite like, I seen a vision. I was like, okay, this business has more potential to grow than the coaching side of things. In hindsight, every business can grow. It just depends where you want to put your time and energy in. But I think the part for me was, me and Jill always wanted to do something together. Me and Jill always wanted to be, like the idea of waking up in the morning and not being passing ships and that. It was like a part of like a dream that we always said would be cool to work together. And that was going to be the case with the gym. Like I was like, right, I'll grow my client list, so then I can create a role that you can help, whether it's marketing or whatever it is. And the podcast studio side of things just seemed to get us to that goal quicker. So time was split between my coaching, and then got more stuff for it, upgrading the cameras, learning more software. Jill, eventually I said, look, there's so much work coming in here. I want to keep coaching. I can't do both anymore. Why don't you quit your job, come in, and then we'll run this together. So we done that, and the idea was, you run the studios things, I'll run the coaching side of things, which was great because we had control over our own schedule, get to do what we want, but we still had this passing ship side of things. Jill had constraints around how to grow the studio side of things, and I'm in this coaching world trying to grow my coaching business. And it was like, we need to pick one. Like, I think we can do both, but right now, if we really want to have success in any of them, we need to come together, rather than you're spending so many hours on that, and then the whole communication piece is like, you don't even care what's happened today. And again, it's because I'm stressed, but I'm worried, or I'm focusing my time and energy on the clients, or in changing my check-in process, or try to deliver a better experience. I do group coaching, and I'm doing all these different experimentations, just like she was with getting a booking calendar so people can book in automatically, like just improving the optimization of the business. And I think it was just this year, it was only 3 months ago, I was like, one of us needs to give up the other one. And in my head, I felt like I've done coaching long enough that I was like, right, I've got the reps and skills from the one-to-one just stuff. I'm confident I can circle back to that at any time. I feel if we lose the traction on the studio side of things, to revive that side of things is not going to be as smooth as the coaching side of things. So 2 months ago, it was like, right, let's go all in on this studio business. And since then, there still gets teething issues and all that sort of stuff. I'm not quite nailed it. It's a hard model, but it's also an exciting one. So me and Jill run that. My brother does a bunch of work for us as well, so it's good to pay him some money. And we brought Fraser in as well. So in terms of like a team, I was like, right, okay, this feels more like this operational business. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I will do that in the coaching world. It's just looking at the trajectory of where things are going. It's like, I could do it in the coaching world, but we're looking at 3-4 years. This has more opportunity now to maximise this on. So
that's so cool, mate. Honestly, man, I think that's sick. It's so interesting, isn't it?
Great concept. I feel like it's podcasting itself, long form, and it's huge for every industry now.
So it's interesting you say so, that it's like, right, we'll become like, let's podcast, and this is where I love Hormozy's stuff. I've listened to, I feel like I resonate a lot with him because he's in the gym world. We said, was that just yesterday you were in?
Yes.
So, and one of the first books I ever read from Hormozy was Gym Launch, and it was back in when was I in the gym then? So that was 2020, 2021, and I read that book. It was one of the second books I ever listened to, and I took it to Manny, who owned Gym 24. I was like, you need to implement some of these ideas. Like, this is crazy, the different models that are in business. And I just loved it because it was business and fitness, and it was in one. And I listened to the book again, and I was like, right, I'm going to implement some of that in my coaching business. How to get testimonials, how to get better reviews, it was like methods, but also the framework behind business. And continuously consuming that information, I think just gets me, for me personally now, it gets me more excited with the studio side of things. Yep. So this was one of the exercises of, right, if we book the studio out 3 times a day for 5 days a week, we look at max capacity. In terms of like revenue it brings in, I know this is like boring numbers, but it's like the potential that can bring in is like 9 to 10 grand a month. It's like, right, fuck, that's, when you say that out loud, you're like, okay, that's a lot of money. But when you break it down, it's like, okay, so that's what, 3 like times by 5, right? Okay, we got 15. We're talking about 60 podcasts a month. So that's a lot of work for what that is. So then you start thinking wider. It's like, right, let's develop the skill of designing thumbnails, designing shorts. Then it's led to developing the skills of landing pages and the art of nurturing someone who doesn't know you, doesn't trust you, and then becomes a paying customer. And I was like, I'm getting to expose myself to all these different skills, different businesses, different podcasters, and this is all going to help me become a better business person that can deploy that back into the coaching world and that. So there is a bit of a selfish desire just now to grow that.
I think there always needs to be though, doesn't there, mate? There always has to be something for you in it, like especially if you're putting that amount of work into it. Because, like, you see the way that everybody here works, like you, Fraser, Gillian, your brother, like, there's never not been a top level of service when we've been here, and this is episode 22. Do you know what I mean?
No,
but
I appreciate that. And like we face our same teething issues that I think everybody does. Like, I'm not going to say that we're perfect and we don't make mistakes and that sort of stuff. In fact, like, we just actually lost one of our biggest paying clients today. And it was like, fuck, man, that's a stab in the heart. But it was the right thing to let that relationship or what the service that we were doing for that person, let that go, to then take a step back and go, right, we need to think strategically about this. Like, what's the learnings from that? And this is what I'm grateful for, with all the challenges or all the times going, right, I'm going to try and get my first client, or I'm going to quit my job and go into PTing. This all feeds into the person, or the I think entrepreneur gets like a bad rap. It's like the word influencer these days, but I do like the idea. Like, I see myself as like, right, I see this as the business owner part within me. It's like, right, I'm prepared to now learn this chapter because I think it's going to carry me further forward for what I want to do.
I think something that obviously to touch on as well is your passion for coaching. They go very well hand in hand, especially the skills you're learning just now.
Yeah.
And probably since we started, the coaching industry's changed dramatically. What is things, in your opinion, that are really noticeable, and the good and bad that come from it?
So I think good side of things is there's definitely a shift towards more people working out in groups. And I would never thought I would say that, because I was like, fucking, if you can't learn to work out, I still stand by the point of training partners are great. And I think, I don't know if we said that when you were on mine, but the whole idea of, if you always go to the gym and you're relying on a workout partner, you need to develop that skill and discipline and confidence of being able to work out on your own. Because I've seen it many times again. Somebody doesn't go, they then don't go, they don't have the confidence to go, etc., etc. So a good that I see with the fitness space just now is there's a shift in group training, or small group PT facilities, should I say, which I actually think does have a positive impact, but it all comes down to like the coach's ability and the messaging that they come across and all that sort of stuff. The con of that side of things is I feel like we're going to go through a shift in a couple of years where PTs who come into the space, there'll be very few will come into it for the wrong reasons. I think in the last couple of years, a lot of people came into the PT space thinking it was easy to make money and you could work from your laptop anywhere in the world. That was like a main selling message over the last couple of years. I don't think anyone came into that recently. Maybe not even this year particularly. And I feel the development or ascension of people going, I'm going to become a PT, comes from, I was a client, I really liked what I'd done, and I want to help other people change their lives because it's changed my life. And I think that is a solid route of developing better PTs. And I think eventually over time that'll fizzle out all the quote unquote bad PTs. But again, sometimes a bad PT is just experience, isn't it? Like I think back to if I PT'd when I was in a bodybuilding show, in fact I did, I made plan, I didn't PT, but people in work were like, you make me a gym plan. I'm like, yeah, Suzanne, how many times you been at the gym? I don't go to the gym, right? Let's get you hitting push pull legs fucking 2 times a week.
Squat.
Aye, the volume on that program was insane. And it's a woman in her 40s with fucking 3 kids. Like things like that. I think there's experience that comes with it.
Yep.
And I'm glad that I genuinely am glad I became a PT in my later 20s. And again, I'll probably, if I had to go straight into PTing today with the knowledge that I know now, there's another level of experience that I've got.
You always think it's like a young man's game. I think as well that's changing. I feel some of the best coaches in the world are still on a gym floor, but that invaluable information, those wee small mistakes that you made that you can now apply, opens up a realm to work with so many people. I think, as you say, that lived experience, being on a gym floor, coming from a position where you maybe were having to deal with so many difficulties, like these things, I agree with you. I think they will come back around. I think, as well as that, online coaching is fantastic. But there's a influx of people that really do need somebody there to teach them the skill set that is so valuable for your life.
Yeah. The online, it's an interesting conversation. I think if you look at the world and where the world's going, it's not a dying trade. It's not something that we need less people or it's saturated. People are getting even more unhealthier or gaining more weight, becoming more fragile. Like you could take the angle of obesity on the rise, which has always been the main argument for it anyway. But again, it's even that's the worst. The worst thing, or my biggest gripe with the fitness space is it's the target towards quote unquote fat people, like being overweight. It's like, oh, you're just lazy, you just don't have discipline, you just need to go to the gym. Like those messaging that's still in the day and age, and it usually comes from people that lack the experience or aren't trainers or are poor trainers. And it gets clicks and it gets views and all that sort of stuff, which I understand, but it's not the be all and end all. So for me, the thing I don't like about the fitness space is it's branded as you have to look a certain way. This is all about your aesthetics. And that's why when I came into it, I was like, I'm making a strong decision here, which may hinder my development as a PT or how many clients I get, but I'm never going to go down the aesthetics route. I'm going to hammer this message of resistance training, strength and longevity, and I'm going to see what impact I can make with that message. And it's not that I disagree with the aesthetic message. I just think there's enough of it out there, and I think the good PTs will PT the right people that's within that. But I think there's then a wave of people that go through these fitness challenges or go through photo shoots, and if not being communicated to effectively, they're then left in the position I was when I finished my bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
I'm meant to be in the best shape of my life, but I don't feel it.
I think it has opportunity to be the most fulfilling job in the world if you go on with the right intentions.
It's the front line. Like
I was very aware of that. I wanted to do all the hard stuff. It could be very easy for me to take my top off every day, flaunt it about, which again, if that's your jip, then fine. There's times where I do it. But my biggest message would always be like, be educational, be inspirational, try and lead to a wee bit of example, because like yourself, I found out that isn't that fulfilling. And in a job where you can give so much fulfillment out and gain so much back, why not choose that path? It's just far, far greater for your full capacity in life. Like that's as simple as it is for me. You will gain so much out this job. Tommy again started coaching. I'm like, you're essentially a problem solver. Try your very best not to make more problems further down the line. And it might give you a wee pat in the back now, but see long term, you're going to kick yourself for that because you sold a dream and it's not lived up to it when really you should have just...
No, you've sold a dream that's lasted 12 weeks or lasted 4 weeks, and that's what I mean. I think looking at fitness, it's like a relationship. It's not, you don't put in the work. You get your partner or you get married and that's it done. It's like it's a continuous improvement game. It's a continuous development, and it's a trial and error and an experience in different things. Like that is fitness in a whole. And it's a content idea I've not actually done yet, but I wanted to go down like a high street somewhere and just ask do people go to the gym, and if they don't, or why do they think people go to the gym? And when doing this exercise, like asking gym members when I was in the gym floor, every single one of them, I come to the gym because I want to lose fat, and I come to the gym because I want to look a certain way. They were the two common reasons that people were in the gym when I was doing consultations. And I was like, I want to change that so that the main category of people coming into here is like, I just want to be healthier, fitter and stronger for my later years of life.
Yep.
I want to be able to show up in 10 years from now and not have back pain. That messaging gets lost in fitness, because fitness in the gym is seen as the bodybuilders, it's seen as the aesthetic guys, it's seen as these like crazy photo shoot challenges and all that sort of stuff, and it's great. They're all like, once you're in the fitness gym, this is like a wee chapter in your journey, and there's so much more that you can reap in terms of like that. Like, it's like, right, see, for the next 12 weeks, like we're gonna diet down hard and we're gonna expose you to this idea of getting lean. But what I want you to know is, like, that's not the end goal. Like, that's just a wee chapter in this life. And I want, if I can get through, I always said, like, I'm a successful coach if the clients that I'm training today are still working out in 10 years' time. That was a Jason Phillips, like an old mentor of mine. It was one of my favourite quotes from him. And he always said, I'm defined by what my clients are doing in 10 years. And if you can take that perspective, you'll train them right. And you'll knock up corners, because you'll think about that longer horizon. Because you're not thinking about, right, I'm going to take 3 months payment here and I need to deliver results in 3 months. And
so that whole, when somebody came into your life, did they leave in a better position? I think that's a very fulfilling place to be, whether that's in your job, relationships, whatever it is, that you should aim to have some sort of impact, because that's where you're seen as a person. But no, you're right. But I think what we'll do, because we are so pro advocate for good quality PTs and promoting that it's on its way back, I think we all give a bit of advice on just one piece, something that if you're a listening PT, what you should be doing to make your job a wee bit better, a wee bit more fulfilling, or just a simple skill set that you maybe use. Tommy, you're new to the industry. Again, what is something that you've picked up on that's made you better at your job? I'll let Dale go first.
So this is for people who are PTing.
Yep.
Let's see, there's so many different ways you can like go down with this, and for me, what comes to mind just now is the messaging or the impact that you want to make with someone. And I won't try to like make this sound any more fancier than it needs to be. But if you think what's going to make you better, what's going to make you a better PT, and I think it's easy to get roped into the hype. So everybody does high rocks just now. Everyone's doing big events, and I think exposing your clients to that is great. But for one thing that I found a lot of purpose and desire to like not feel to get caught in the trends with some of this sort of stuff, because like CrossFit coach or fat loss coach and all this sort of stuff, like they're just chapters of this bigger picture, as you said. I think you can niche down and specialise in that, and if you want to do that, then cool. But for me, the whole part of finding out the reason why your client's working out, when they say it's for fat loss, why is it for fat loss? Nobody gets by that first question, and it's mental how deep you can get into a conversation with someone and you realise that it's the self-belief, the self-worth, it's the not feeling confident in themselves when they go into a workplace, or they don't like how their friends see them or their family sees them. So if you can get down to a deeper meaning as to why that client is working out or wants to go on this quote-unquote fitness journey, that will allow you to help them better. Definitely.
Tommy boy.
Mine's for being a new PT, and this would be me saying it to people that are maybe in my position, just starting to work on the gym floor, etc., is just being honest with your clients on what you can actually deliver. Like, I'm not going to take on somebody who is 18, 19, full of beans, wanting to bodybuild in 2 years because I like bodybuilding. I'm not going to go, I can prep you. Like, I'm not going to, what am I trying to tell? Overselling, under deliver. And I feel like that is
managing your expectations.
I see so much of that, like a lot. And that was one thing I never wanted to do. Hence the reason I coached my first 6 months for free, mate. Like, because I needed to know that I actually can coach. So my first 6 months, like, I never charged them their bean. And I had, like, it got to a point where it was, like, overwhelming. Because I was coaching, like, 25 people, and 18 of them were taking it serious, and others were just kind of fucking about. And that was then impacting me, because I was like, am I not doing something right? Know what I mean? Even
Welcome to coaching.
I know. You're right.
You're always going to have a
Aye.
percentile, even when people pay.
Yeah.
Like money is like it's quite interesting. I think that's why it's quite good to do the PT conversations that we've
Yep.
done on mine, because it's like it's almost like all that information's gatekept. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to. When I first came in the industry, it's like, right, every single one of my clients need to get results, and when ones aren't, you're like, oh, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? And sometimes you can only hold someone's hand so much, and
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean. And I always used to try and frame it as that's not you failing them, because if one of the most powerful, in fact, I remember this quite vividly, clients leaving you today and coming back in 6 months' time, or even moving on to another coach 6 months' time, that experience of them quote unquote failing with you will make them a better adherence to their next coach or back with you.
Yeah.
And because I used to get clients who they're like, yeah, I tried this PT thing like 2-3 years ago and it just didn't work. Oh, what's happening? Oh, I was doing this and I was doing that. It's like, right, what did you like from it? I was like, I really found out like I really missed that. Like I really missed working out every day. It's like, right, cool, we now have a stronger reasoning of the pain of you've got the reward of going to the gym.
Yep.
And then that's been taken away and now you want it back. It's
Yeah.
hard to sell the reward of going to the gym because you'll know it yourself. Like we're working out, it's like I don't feel like this is doing anything until you stop doing it and you're like, whoa,
Yep.
this is just a new normal for you.
I don't think that's like people say or talk about like good timing. I don't really believe in that. But what I do believe in is experience. So if you can go back into something, I've said that some of the best clients I've ever had have came back to me because it's just lived experience of going, I don't actually want to feel like this. And this time,
It's like they
I'm gonna
needed to
make it
go
work.
through the pain of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stepping away from it. Because it can be overwhelming. Like if you go into something for the first time and you lose a bunch of weight or you get in shape and you're like, oh man, that was hard. It's like, I just want to go back. Like I feel I've achieved it now. Let me go back to my old ways. And then you go, oh wait, it wasn't about the aesthetic look. It was actually all these other things that you can now drill into them more because it's got deeper meaning.
Yep.
What's yours?
I think I'll do a bit more of a practical one. Again, maybe an area where I see a lot of coaches maybe falling short is I do a thing called the silent set. And it's something that I'll implement in the first session I do with somebody, and I'll implement it several times when I'm training them on a gym floor, and it's simply me standing, not saying a word, and watching somebody going through a set. For there I can determine how hard they train when I'm not speaking to them, when they've got no coaching. And for there, if it's initially them coming in, it will be able to see what I feel they're doing wrong and where I can build on. There will be different levels of how you can train somebody, and everybody's idea of hard will be dose dependent. But if you can't train somebody hard, you will lose them. And I don't feel they'll get results. That's always the key ingredient. I feel that's a huge thing for PTs nowadays. Do you train your clients hard? Because all the other wee things we can train, we can fix. But if they are capable and they're there themselves, do they have that wee bit of grit that you should be teaching them? And like I said, you should always be reassessing that. So I'll use that. I'll use the silent set, and I'll go in and I'll say, "Sold yourself short there, 4 or 5 reps," and I'll make them do it again.
I show them.
But it's not that, it's making sure that it's always installed. 'Cause I feel this is my big thing. Like some coaches sit, they get a wee bit complacent. They want to train clients hard and they fold their arms, or they just pull a banana out of their pocket and they want to sit and just watch something. And really, your job's to train somebody hard, and if you keep doing that, they will take a lot of value from their session. And
That's the intensity, isn't it? It's like it's that whole thing. Like it's the if your self belief is low and a client has got you, they're going to stop 20 reps short of where they think they can be because they don't believe in it. They don't. They're like, nah, this hurts. Like I'm done. It's like right now we're getting into the 70k or the 25k. It's like that's the part of your brain where your brain's saying, right, okay, you're done because you're not used to this unknown.
You're not
I'm
supposed
here
to
to show you these next couple of reps.
That's something I would use if you're listening. Implement it and see. Just walk around, stand behind them, don't say a word, and then see their reaction after it. And if it hasn't met the standards that you set, you've done your job wrong. You have to fix it. And I guarantee it makes your results better.
Aye. I love that. I also used to hate when you do it. Like I used to get PT to have them like once every week, mate. I fucking used to hate it, man, so much.
You must have seen that, like what's the YouTube influencer guy's name? He goes into that, it's like the doghouse or something like that,
Right.
and it's like the guy's called Unk.
Oh, him,
What's he called?
Haddy and
Aye.
thing, Haddy and his uncle. Aye, aye.
That's intensity. I'm like,
Oh, that's mad.
There's a degree of you add in that you step in and
aye,
motivate you.
Aye.
But my overall thing is, eventually I ain't going to be here.
Aye.
And when it's all said and done, you have to be training hard.
You
because
also
that's
do
where
it
the magic
when,
is.
like, see when I'm training with you, we're training the same thing. You also do it then too.
I
So
mean-
like I can be like fucking getting to like rep 9, and you've no said a word, and I'm like cool, and then
Oh,
like
well, silence sets then.
Mind,
oh man,
is it Delroy that comes in here? Gio's pal.
Dale, Big Dale.
He came in and he's like, I just love watching you train, like similar to when it was like you're like a big predator.
It's like,
And I went, you just walk about. I went, I don't know if that term's right. And then my client
big
turned around
pedo.
like that. Aye, he is fucking predator, isn't he? But you know what I mean? Like you're walking about and you're assessing things. It's a really good thing to teach. But I spoke to Ross about this the other day. Like that's
I think the art of actually coaching is something that's lost because you qualify and you have your own experience, so you get your own biases of what Tony's done. And the good thing is Tony's instilling a mentality in you. It's like, look, this is just one way of training. There's multiple other ways. Like, be kind of visual enough to go, right, I'm gonna make my own mind up to this, not be stuck to my own biases.
yeah. There's that whole like, across the board. No matter what kind of style of training you pick, the magic's in training hard.
aye,
CrossFit, bodybuilding. If you want to get as much as you possibly can like this, you're going to need to go to somewhere. I was talking to that earlier in the podcast. Like, there's no fun in just going through the motions. So if you can teach somebody that and go, right, well, if I keep doing this, yeah, it ain't that enjoyable. But on the flip end of it, the long game, which we always spoke about, like, good happens from it. So I think that's...
I just don't think there's any better feeling than just getting absolutely mucked right into training, mate.
No.
Like I just see like going under a bar, knowing fine well I'm going for 8 reps here, but in my brain I'm saying you're not even getting 3. See just that.
It's that.
Come on.
That's why I love teaching somebody it, because it's that mental fortitude. And I think whenever I do get those compliments of saying, oh, you train people really hard, and I say thank you, but really I'm going, isn't that a shame that should be a bare minimum?
Aye, that should
Like,
be the
that
standard.
should be a bare minimum.
Aye.
I sign up to you, I put my trust in you, and you can't train me hard because you're sitting on your phone, texting, fucking about.
Yep.
You're a personal trainer.
I know.
Like,
Aye.
is that where we've got to?
Aye.
Like, you
Your
might
barber
sort-
doesn't just stop halfway through your haircut and whip a banana out. You know what I mean?
I've got a Ford guard, that's what we're doing today. You're fucked. No, you're right. The standards mad.
I just couldn't be arsed today, sorry. I'm not finishing your haircut.
I know. Cheers for my mohawk.
I do think of that with barbers sometimes though. I'm like, man, you
Maybe
can't.
that's why mullets came back into
Aye, I
fashion.
know.
Maybe, mate.
He's like, I can't be fun. I've done the sides, mate. You just go with that? Aye, fuck it.
Aye, that'll do.
That's a nice haircut, actually.
Oh, man.
My barber still charges me for a full fade. I get into this with him. I don't mind, but I was like, do you still charge the same for mullets? And he's like, well, why? He's like, I'm still fading. I was like, you didn't have the heat though. It's just the sides.
That's a good point. He's meant for an hour PT to half an hour, so it should
Still
be
get the
cheaper.
same. But yeah, does good haircut. So
You can't beat that, mate. You can't beat that, man. I need to get mine squared up.
Aye, you're not
It's
far
going a
away.
bit mental, that's what it is, man.
But Mr. Pitstop, you have brought up a sample. I say a sample, I've drank it. I'll let you introduce
I
it.
did take a sip in the middle and I was like, oh, I better actually wait. But
I've been joking for a piss for 20 minutes now. I'm kidding. This is the new Rising Scream. It's the blood orange flavour. Shout out Big Calvin. It is the CRM Physique collab. It is unbelievable, as I'm sure you have tasted.
Yeah, I've just tried it. It's top draw.
And it, mate,
this
it's
tastes
really
Who
good.
do you think Calvin has something to do with the flavour? Or is it more like the orange/redness of him?
Definitely some Big Calvin. No, it's maybe. I
What's
think
the
there's
flavour
potential for
again?
that. It's
The
blood orange,
blood
mate.
orange.
So it is. So you can grab it now at Pitstop. Use code TNT10 because code CRM doesn't work with it, even though it does. But no, it doesn't. Aye, lethal, mate. I think we've spoke about this product more than enough in the
Calvin, I'm
podcast.
hoping if I take a double scoop, I'll wake up your colour.
I'll wake up your size.
Golden brown.
Aye, man.
You should do like the old school bodybuilding ad is like get ripped and shredded for the show and just be like, the one supplement that got me here was Rise and Shine.
That's when they do away all the tan buffs at
Oh,
bodybuilding
100%.
shows. It's just Calvin sitting like that. 2 of them and you son it, you get double bicep.
Yeah,
Oh,
come into a
brilliant.
tanning shop near you.
So it is a limited edition. There is only limited stock of it coming up to Halloween. So grab yours soon.
Must admit, I'm not a huge
You've nailed
supplements
that,
guy.
boys. That is
That's the
genuinely.
one. That's great, mate. So it is.
Do you know what's a nice? I'm saying it. I love my peach iced tea. That's the nicest flavour.
Do you think so?
Aye.
I was talking about this today in the shop with Martin. So I was, man. It's got strong potential for it. I'll give myself a week, drink it, and then I'll be like, I'll make my mind up there. But solid, mate. Solid. So it is. But I don't think there's a bad flavour of Rise and Shine. In all honesty, I really don't. I know people are not a great fan of lemon and lime. See if you get a cold bolt, I might be lemon and lime, mate.
I feel I would like lemon and lime over it. So I'm not a huge fan of peach tea flavour.
Okay.
I done the taste test when Neil was on the podcast, and it was good. But I didn't have that urge, and I was like, I'm not a huge supplement guy anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, right, I'll try that, and I was like, nah, it's not replacing my coffee.
Uh-huh.
So I was like attached to like council coffee. That's where I'm at. But that tastes nice.
Oh, it's
That
banging, mate.
tastes nice.
It's really
Have a
good.
bit of flavour
That
in
is.
your life.
Some nootropics, some hydration,
What's
some
that?
good cognitive function. Can I
Oh,
go
shit,
wrong,
already.
Tony?
Calvin strained you.
I'm leaving you. No, I'm kidding.
Calvin sent you a script.
Oh, man. So, aye, that's us, eh? It's a sad day, mate.
Sad
So it
day.
is.
The last
I've,
part, eh?
I need to ask a big question. Will you look after my boy?
Oh, we'll look after him. You got a
My
podcast
wee
in
brother.
here while you're. You got to do one while you're.
Yeah, I think
Who-
we'll
I mean, Calvin.
Have you met Tony? TNT.
Oh, man. Aye.
Big Tony started training hard.
Aye. TNT still to be a hang, man. I think we briefed over this in the last podcast. We've still got massive plans. Tone, you've got a few guests kind of organised, mate, for out in Dubai, which will work out the situation, what we're going to do with kind of the online podcast and stuff.
Yep.
Aye. We're still going to be here, mate. We're Bulletproof Loyal, mate.
Aye.
We're
No,
we're
of course,
gonna-
like-
Tommy.
Yes,
with
the
your
studio.
online stuff, you get there's a software called Riverside.
Mhm.
That's where most of the online podcasters would use. It's like Zoom,
Right.
but it kind of does all the heavy lifting and that. So
Does it?
if I'm sure studios out there will know how to set
Aye.
Tommy up in a camera, like on a laptop, for example, there, and you'll get the element of 3 using the
Yeah.
podcast, but you'll make it work.
Aye.
So what you got to do? You're going to do. Are you going out to Dubai?
January, mate.
January.
Talking about side quests, kind of photo shoot
Nice.
stuff and whatever. That's my next one currently, mate. So it is. But obviously, I've got Santa Piana Day in the midst of it.
Santa piano, I like that. I like that challenge.
Aye, got to go into a dieting phase. As of now.
Skinny Santa.
Aye, that's it, mate. No,
Piana.
sir. I was trying to piano. Aye, hopefully be nice and lean for going out there, mate. And I'm just got to get absolutely stuck into raising canes and everything Dubai's got to offer, mate.
What are you looking forward to most about this Dubai move?
I've always wanted to live in the sun.
Hmm.
It's been a huge thing for us. Spoke
You're
about this.
definitely a beach guy, man.
I've just loved being in the sun. I've always
Mm.
been like that. I spoke about this earlier with somebody, like the fear of going, like, I don't want, that's my biggest, not just my biggest fear, what people think, but I don't want people going out, or me going out, folk think, oh, he's just going out there to act like the big man. And like that whole, like,
You don't feel
influence
that's
of it.
done though. I feel like everybody who was going to do that sort of.
It's
now,
done, but
isn't
it's
it?
also, I've worked my full life not to be that.
Mm.
And I'm not saying you're wrong for being that, it's just not my
It's not-
character.
Yeah.
I'm going out there with intention, being there long term, starting a family, being challenged. Like, that was always my sole purpose. So it's like, that's the full reason behind it. Like,
I
get
love
out there, settle in, work hard, be challenged, and then see what the world's got to offer.
Was the biggest fear that you've got then of the move?
That was it. Apart from that, nothing scares me.
Do
Like-
you miss anything from here other than like people? And
Spoke about this in the
community and that sort of
podcast,
stuff?
like, my circle's amazing. Like, I've got such
You
good
were saying
people in
that
my
last
life.
time,
Like, That's the hardest bit of all. Like leaving something that's really, really good. I had my leaving doing Sunday, and I was just like, I can't believe how lucky I am and how many people I have around me. And
Aye.
part of me was like, can't believe you're leaving this. But
Did you cry?
nah, I didn't cry.
You're a crier?
My best mate turned up from Manchester, which nearly got me. And then
You didn't hit your bastard.
just ignore me. And, so wee things like that just made me feel like amazing partner, amazing family, amazing friends. It's just,
Yeah.
but you're leaving that, so you kind of go, you're
Aye.
contradicting, going, well, I'm fucking off.
It's mad, isn't it? It's
It's
like
what-
the part of getting older, because there is a part where, like, this is a big chapter for you to move in
Yep.
with Molly and create this next chapter of your life and start a family and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's huge, and it's part of, like, there is a, not that you, I was thinking of, like, different stages that you go through in life, friendship circles and all that sort of stuff. I always think it's amazing when you hear it, like, I think both you guys have got friends from school,
Yep.
pretty
Yeah.
much in childhood and that sort of stuff. And I've never experienced that, and it's like, man, like that must feel so cool, because there is different chapters of life where people sort of move out, move on, and that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. And it's not that they don't become friends; it's just different
Yeah, I
parts
do
of your
think
life.
your younger friends, you get the odd one that comes in, Tommy for me, and just your day ones or your people for the young, like they have that wee bit more special connection with you. But like I said, I think just lucky more than anything. I think we all are. We
Yeah.
very much have a like-minded group of people. So it's,
It's good.
as I said, I'm not leaving you, but
You're just that
But,
8 hour flight away.
you've got to have. I think it's when there's an itch there, no matter what it is you want to
You have to
do,
go after it, man.
you have to go and do it. It's like some point in your life you decided I'm going to start this podcast, and I'm going to take a jump that might cause a lot of discomfort in some people I love's areas of people that I love. But it has to be there, because my biggest thing, and I think we can all agree on, is you do not want to look back and kick yourself. Like, that is the biggest thing of going, I should have done that challenge. I should have went into the gym. And I think if anybody's listening, is like, if you have something in you that's saying, I feel like I'm being pulled towards that, then certainly go and explore it, because there's every chance it will make.
I can guarantee if the itch is there, the feeling of not scratching that itch is going to be, I wish I scratched it. Regardless of how crap the opportunity looks or good the opportunity looks, if the itch is there to do it, may as well get a try.
I think there's wee pockets in life where you get opportunities, and if you ignore them, you remember those pockets. Like
absolutely.
the opportunity to build this, the
Aye,
opportunity to
took
move
your words out my
abroad.
mouth, mate.
Like, it's just, if you let that pass, they sit in your mind forever. And I think we all are at that stage of life now where we're going, fuck that. I ain't letting good opportunities pass me. I ain't letting good people pass me now. You've got to take it. And I think we've got the proof as well that life gets unbelievably better when you go what's in your gut.
100%.
So anyone
man.
that, I'm not sees my friends as much, but it'd be amazing when Tommy comes out in January and you're opening a full new avenue of people that come visit you and enjoy it.
And experiences from Angels Pub to the Dubai Angels.
Aye, you're right. 100%.
You know what I mean?
mate.
Like, be able to do that in a different country, a different part of the world, different experience. That's what life's about, man. Like, we all stay in our wee town. One of the best things you can do is get out of it and experience the world. And I guess we're
1000%,
fortunate we get to go on holidays, experience different gyms, all that sort of stuff's cool. That's the
what I
thing, like,
can't wait
you forget, it's like you always want more, but it's like, nah, just live the moment, scratch the itch, and
Aye.
get after the things you want to get after.
Some people will never have that
I know.
itch, but it's just what
What
makes us who we are.
Aye.
That's
Exactly.
why the biggest things we've always said about, like, it's why the biggest things on this podcast is like the living in the moment idea, being present. Like, whether that be in Banoosh Gym, out in a pub in Dubai, doing whatever it is, or whether that be lying on the couch watching Sopranos with your missus. Like, just be there, like, and actually appreciate it.
That's a back and forth conversation I've been having myself just now, of just like, you ever get like your parents and they would say stuff like, fancy cars not that important, or doing too much of that is just, it's not going to be worth it long term. But you kind of need to go through all these things to
You
start
need to, yeah. You need
ticking
to
them
buy.
all off, and then you go, wait a minute, they were right.
Aye.
And if I can just apply that now and go, right, well, that person has a wee bit more wisdom with me and a bit more experience, things moving.
Life's
to-
weird, isn't it? Because like you look at how our parents raised us, and then what we're going to do to raise the next generation or whatever, and it's like, right, how do I get that message through better? And that's all our parents will try to do with us. But again, you still had to make the stupid purchases or do the stupid thing. You're like, okay, that makes sense now.
Aye.
So
It's
experience
just
it.
saying, it's like we're living forward, but life only makes sense in reverse.
Yep.
When you look back,
100%.
you're just day by day trying to do the best you can.
And
I
here's
think-
the other question is like the whole like, do you think you're in the good days? Because you don't know your good days until they're gone. It's like, will you look back and it's like, oh man, JP's gym is such a special time for me. I look back at that with Gym 24 and I'm like,
Aye.
my first year of PTing was so fun. And that's why I think when you're doing something for the first time, so this experience you're about to do, like being able to enjoy that for what it is, like don't like, because I would imagine what goes through the mind moving out there. It's like, right, I need to get there now, I need to set up my reputation out there, I need to do this, I need to do that, and you start stealing time away from the future before actually just going, hey, I love that you said it's taking a couple of weeks just to enjoy it and scout it out
I think
and just breathe.
I was at a, just to rabble on before we finish, so I was at a business event last night, and they spoke a lot about like what happened in the end, the exit strategies and everything else, and it has so much relevance for business. But when I got back in the car with my mate, I was like, what about the bit in between? We've been told since we started, it's not the destination, it's the journey. So no matter what you get at the end of the exit of that business, the most valuable thing is in the middle. That's where your friendships are built, that's where your love's built, that's where your self-worth is fixed. Do the bit in the middle, and that's why I'm an emphasis on like, see if you're going to build something, make sure it's enjoyable for that 20, 30, 40, whatever, how many years you're blessed with, because that's the bit you look back on, like you say, and go, they were the days.
That's why the Lambo's that's why it doesn't fulfill, because it's like, all right, to buy a Lambo, what do I need? I need more money, and would I have that much money then to spunk it on a car? It's like, right, if I get to that point in life, it's like, oh no, it wasn't about the Lambo, it was the pursuit and the journey of that.
Yeah, it's who you become, but in that case, buy a Lambo.
I know.
Aye.
Anyway,
It's a good episode. I
before we
enjoyed
get all motivational, everyone, should we say our farewells?
Oh, what, man? Aye, I guess we should, mate.
By the time this episode aired, I will be sitting with my laptop, working away in the sun.
Bastard.
Tommy will be hitting the sunbeds with Calvin. So he's going to match the same skin tone when he comes out.
Ah, you don't mean to this, Tony.
Aye, you will, mate. You will. But TNT's still got to be a thing, mate.
Yep.
We're still going to have guests. We're still got to go on forward, mate.
Just something I'm really thinking, like, so many, shout out to everybody that's opened gyms in Glasgow.
Aye, man.
Crazy, isn't it?
John Paul, Ross, Calvin,
Yep.
Murray.
Yep.
He's Edinburgh, obviously, but so many amazing gyms in this area.
For sure.
I
was doing
don't
it-
know exactly where I was going with that. I
Aye.
wanted to tell all the boys, well done.
Aye, massive,
Because
mate.
I'm moving away going, hey, Muscle Hut's another one.
Aye.
I hope the kit's as good as all the boys back home now.
I was down in Durham last week, obviously. It was class. But we're no far off it. Like, it was sick. They had everything, but I'm also going into the gym going, oh, Murray's got that. Aye, Ross has got that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Do you think
I
it's
reckon-
always ever been about the kit though? I think the kit was a part in your guys' world more of like the love and the art of bodybuilding and the different machines and stuff that can get
I'm
with
a bit weird with it, I think, like, as in, I'm probably a wee bit more weirder than some of the boys that want to train me. I just like trying it. I just like that. That's where the whole gym review thing came from. It's just like, let's just go here because they've got that kit, so let's try it.
It's
Like
an interest, isn't it? It's like, I think if anyone that John Paul, Ross, Galvin, like, care about it.
Aye.
So yeah, that's what kind of births all these good gyms. I'd openly say, like, my best training days ever were down at Extreme Gym.
Aye.
With me, I meet Big Dale and me Ryan, and we just get stuck right in. And then,
But I think like those days were probably the best days because it was like how new this sort of pursuit was for you and the people that you were like.
aye,
Like I miss the days of like going, man, Flex Lewis said like this is the best way to grow your arms, and you do it and you're like, oh fucking I feel massive. Like
Aye.
that love. Like I wish sometimes I didn't have the knowledge I have now just so I can naively follow some of that
that's
that
something
information.
to again to go back to the joy of just training and enjoyment. I was reading stuff about how, and it's true, we notice there's evidence to back it up, like how kind of pump work can be ineffective. But when you're looking at these studies, they aren't asking the people carrying them out, well, did you enjoy it? And I think that is the key element of any form of training.
100%, man. 100%.
So see if you and I have trained, God knows how many people. See, just doing things like that, keeping them going, like doing me, in this case, pump work. There's something about knowing that people aren't robots and you have to just keep those wee fun things in as well. I know we're using...
That was the only argument I could give the group training back in the day. It's like, this isn't the effective way to train, but see, the one thing that makes it effective, because typically the demographic is older ladies or ladies together, and they get to do their thing. And it's not necessarily about the fitness thing, it's just them all doing something together and having fun with it. So I see, like, I know it's memes just now, but it's like middle-aged women will do anything to, like, not lift weights, and they're all jumping about in a trampoline, that sort of stuff. And I get it, and I know it's all mean and that sort of stuff, but the reason the market's there is because the biggest thing in our industry is enjoyment has to be number one.
So if you go, like, too far one way, too far the other, jumping on a trampoline, just doing very boring movements, is it the end of the world if you're doing your weight sessions and you're throwing a wee bit of pump work to get your biceps pumping because you want to send your missus a photo when you get in? Probably not.
No, definitely not.
That's where we're maybe losing that art of going, sometimes just doing stuff because it's fun, and I got into this because there's an element of fun to it as well.
That's what, like me machines, mate. I don't biomechanically have an answer towards a bit of kit. If I use a robot, mate, and I feel my lap rip me off, man, I'm like, brilliant. All about it, man.
Give me more of that.
No, what I mean, and people are like, nah, it's no good because it doesn't converge. Shut up.
Diluting things a wee bit and going,
Aye.
Do you know, let's throw a wee bit of fun in there, makes you go and do that again. Even for somebody that's new to the gym, to somebody that's been in there for years, it's worth it.
100%.
A bit of competition with your pal, a bit of doing something like that. Aye, on paper, is it a bit silly? But who gives a fuck?
Aye,
Like,
who cares?
Who cares?
That's what I mean with the deeper meaning, like beyond the fat loss or beyond the aesthetic. Just like,
was running 100k and doing 100 kilo bench press optimal?
No,
absolutely fucking not.
Aye.
But
There's
there was
something
something good about it.
Aye, that's it, mate. 100%, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
Feels
about.
good.
Just go and enjoy yourself.
So I think we've had some fun today. Dale,
Good episode,
thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me on.
If anybody listening as well, how do they get in touch with the studio?
Best page to follow is Bulletproof Studios __. That's gonna when's this going out?
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So this so hopefully by then, like, we're kind of doing a whole revamp of just even social content that we want to create and that sort of stuff. Like, we start sharing the journey of, like, me and Jill are trying to build something here, and I think we're keeping a lot of it to ourselves, and it's like, we're just gonna put this out to the world and go, like, here's some of the challenges we're facing, here's how we're overcoming it. So if you want to stay tuned for that, then cool. But for the most of it, if you want anything related to content recorded or coming and using a studio or anything at all, then we're your content marketing guys.
Perfect.
I think I have my final farewells to say to you too, mate. So, like, obviously I'm going to see you on Saturday anyway, so this doesn't even matter. But anyway, if I never bumped into you, none of this would be a thing.
Vice versa for you, Tommy.
So, I'll see you in January.
You will?
Well, technically I'll see you on Saturday, but I'll see you in January.
Give the silence sets.
Do you know what I mean? I know what, the full section, mate. Still not my fucking prick, man.
Then we get to the end, like, you had fucking 10 more reps there, man.
You'll come out in January and I'm going to hear the silent sets. I'm doing the silent holidays now.
Aye, man. For sure.
No, I love the chemistry that you guys have got in this podcast. Said that since day one. It's good to see. It's good to actually see the traction, that sort of stuff that you guys are getting as well. And obviously, podcast is a hard one. So it's like, how do you see the return on it? But I think a lot of people definitely relate to the honesty and the relationship that you guys both have, and that's cool to see.
Just thrilling back to as well.
Relatable.
We have fun and we enjoy it.
Aye.
That's
and
it,
we care for each other, so it's worth doing it.
I'm not podcasting ages. Like the last one I've done with you, and it's because I'll tell you off the podcast. I can't quite say it on the podcast just now. I'll be able to say it in a couple of months. But there's parts of me is like changing not the coach and all that sort of stuff. So I felt like a bit lost in not actual podcasting because it's a big part of my life and it's what we do as business and big part of the coaching world. Done that episode with you, and I was like, fucking doing this today, so I really miss this. But going back to those solo journeys, that's going to be hard to do.
Also quite therapeutic. It's very therapeutic.
It's good,
doing
yeah.
this. You're eventually it's chatting with your
It
mates,
is like
something that guys tend to struggle with a wee bit.
100%, man.
So just get a wee blather and working things out and talking a bit more.
Aye. You realise life's not that serious as
Aye.
well. That's probably the bigger thing, isn't it? It's
Aye.
like you say it out loud and you're like, that doesn't mean as much to me as what I thought it did. Like, I'm so caught up in my own head with like the I don't know what it is, like letting go of coaching, for example, in marketing, or building a studio. It's like building a studio. Like I'm missing some of the
That's cool,
the
mate.
light.
It's
Aye.
so fucking
missing
cool,
some of
mate.
the light.
100%, man. That's
you go.
minted.
So
So it is.
Get yourself down to the gym, get yourself 21s.
Aye, definitely.
There we go.
Get a tub of Rise and Shine.
Santa
Happy days.
Piana. That should be the next one he does.
100%.
Right, boys. I
Thank
think we'll
you.
get up.
Get up.